fellow Star Wars nerds, welcome to Unlimited Content, the podcast where two brothers talk about all of Star Wars TV and film in chronological order on the internet as an excuse to hang out more. We're your hosts, Sam and Jack, and this week we are talking about The Clone Wars, Season Episodes 1 through 3, Holocron Heist, Cargo of Doom, and Children of the Force. Jack Ford, how the heck are you?
I'm doing heckin' good.
Heckin' good? Oh man.
You said how the heck are you, so I'm doing the heck good.
I love it. That's what I love to hear.
What about you, Sam? How's your heckin' life?
I don't know. I personally am doing well. Yeah. The bit's making me uncomfortable. I don't know why. I'm not sure. But I am doing well. I know that. So
that's good.
All is well. It's 9:30 on a Sunday night and we're recording a podcast, so can't complain. I can see my brother. And I get to record a podcast.
Huzzah.
Huzzah, indeed. Cool. Dude, with these podcastings, these get expensive.
It does.
Like unlimitedly expensive.
Yeah, what are some of our expenses? Our time, our dashing
good looks.
Our dashing good looks for our faces for podcasting.
For radio.
yeah. We got a face for radio.
Oh man.
Our exorbitant appearance fees that we have to pay ourselves for every time we're on this podcast.
Indeed. And also this really good bowl of cereal I'm eating. That's expensive.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not.
Which is not actually our sponsor. It's just a good bowl of cereal.
Should be. Magic Spoon, you should sponsor us. It'd be great.
Shh, you're not supposed to say their name. See, now we gotta say this. We gotta say they're terrible now, so that
I don't
walk it back.
I'm angling for a real sponsorship, Jack. Not an unlimited sponsorship, a real sponsorship. Jack, who's our unlimited sponsor this week?
This week's episode of Unlimited Content is brought to you by local bookstores. Go to your local bookstore. Support your local bookstore. Get out of here, Amazon. Get out of here, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Go to your local, like, I don't know, your local cool indie bookstore with weird, like, feminist books, and
we love those.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
Jack, you live in Austin. What is your favorite indie bookstore in Austin, Texas?
Well, I mean, the thing is, the bookstore I go the most often is not indie at all. It's half price books.
It's headquartered in Austin. It's headquartered in Austin, right?
I think it's headquartered in Dallas. Yeah,
they have the big distribution center by our house.
And I think the largest half price books is in Dallas.
I took Sarah that one time on a date. It was nuts.
It's giant, big, isn't it? It's very good. I love that place. Yeah, I go to half price books more frequently than any other bookstore, which I don't feel bad about because it's like, I mean, yeah, it's a big company, but it's also A, not Amazon, and B, it's all secondhand. So
yeah, it's good for the planet because things aren't going into the landfill.
Exactly.
Recycling is like on the face good, but like the chemicals used might be bad. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But reduce, reuse, recycle. You're reusing by buying secondhand. So there you go.
Indeed.
Good for you.
Yeah. And let's see. Book People, of course, is a famous one here in Austin. Yeah, Book People. It's like I've
driven by it. I've not had the pleasure of going inside, but I've driven by it.
It's real cool. It's it's your typical bookstore, but it's very nice inside and well decorated and full of helpful staff and cool. Did you hear that?
Is it thundering at your house?
It is very thundery here in Austin right now. Yeah, it's thundery and stormy at the moment. We had that
yesterday.
Yeah, so I did not go to Book People today, but I did go very close to Book People because I was in that area. It's like they're like a block away is where I was, which is at thunder, so much thunder. It was at Waterloo Records, which is one of my favorite stores to go to in Austin, which is great. It is, I think it's the largest record store in Texas.
That's cool.
Well, no, that's not true. It's in Austin, I think, but in Texas, I think actually in the United States, the largest record store is supposed to be Josie Records.
Actually. Really?
Yeah.
Did you know that there is a second Josie Records?
What?
And it's in Kansas City.
What?
Yeah.
What? How? What? Yeah.
So
you went from living near one.
Dear listener, there is a record store Less than a mile from our parents' house on Josie Road. Boulevard Road? I don't know.
I think it's Josie Lane.
Josie, that makes more sense. Josie Lane, called Josie Records, and it's this huge record store. It's super cool. And there's a second one in downtown Kansas City.
Which is you moved from one place. You're only allowed to live in cities where there's Josie Records.
Evidently, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, Josie Records is great. Josie Records is where I got Metroid Prime for the GameCube.
That's awesome.
They have a very small video game section, and one time I always go there just because I'm a video game nerd, and so I always go there. And one time I found, man, that thunder.
Thor is angry today.
Yeah. Yeah, I found just a really in great condition copy of Metroid Prime for the GameCube. So,
are you okay?
I'm fine. Anyway, so but I'm leaning into talking about the weather. I'm grateful
you have a basement apartment right now.
Yeah, well, it's not basement.
Ground floor.
It's ground floor, and I'm very well kind of isolated, and I've only got two relatively small windows. I'm right next to one of them, though.
Yeah, it is a cozy apartment. I'm a big fan of your apartment.
Yeah, apparently there's hail happening.
We got that yesterday.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
you passed it on to us.
We did. You're welcome.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. So, so I was out and about. I went to Josie Records and just to have an outing today because I left my apartment and I wanted to get out of the apartment for once today. And while I was out, it started getting stormy, and on my way home for the 10-minute drive, it was just constant lightning in the distance, and it was you could see it in the clouds. It was super pretty,
Did you post that on Instagram?
I did, yes.
It looked super cool.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah.
So I took some pictures of that, and then I got home and ate some dinner and stuff, and while I was eating dinner, the storm actually arrived, and it got really rainy and stormy. So
that's fun.
But yeah, Waterloo Records is great. It's in downtown Austin, and it's a big old record store, and it also has a really good DVD and Blu-ray selection as well. They've got one whole giant shelf of just Criterion Blu-rays, which is awesome, or Blu-rays and DVDs, which is great. And
wait, what's Criterion mean?
So Criterion is they're a brand of they're kind of an art house brand of they create basically very high quality sort of collector's edition releases of movies on DVD and Blu-ray and whatnot, and
cool.
They're all artsy or award-winning acclaimed sort of films. So there's a lot of obscure foreign stuff, but also they'll occasionally get some stuff that's like Why of Wall-E on Criterion, which is the first time they've released a Disney movie on Criterion, which is cool. I have that. I have The Great Dictator, the Charlie Chaplin film, which is
nice.
Great. It's great, no pun intended. And I think I have The Great Escape, which I got from Mom and Dad for Christmas, I think.
That is
cool.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've seen it. I've seen Chicken Run more than I've seen The Great Escape, so I need to go back and watch The Great Escape.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so Criterion is super cool. They have a bunch of Akira Kurosawa films, a bunch of Wes Anderson, just lots of acclaimed it's the brand of Blu-rays for cinephiles, basically.
That's cool.
Yeah, so movie nerds like Criterion generally.
Yeah. For someone who claims to be a really big Star Wars nerd, you mentioned Akira Kurosawa. I have never seen one of his films, and I feel like I should, because he was a huge influence on George Lucas for Star Wars. Indeed it was. And I'm gonna have to turn in my film student card, my film degree card, because I've never watched a whole Akira Kurosawa film either. I have. I have Rashomon, which I really want to watch, and then of course I want to see Seven Samurai, and I want to see Yojimbo, and there's a ton of there's a huge selection of movies that I just need to see that I haven't. Films I was not great mentally during college, and so there was is anyone great mentally during college?
Good point. That's true. Yeah. but I was especially
that's not
great.
on you. It's not on you.
Yeah. But yeah, so yes, definitely. Maybe we should do like a we'll do like a special episode where we both watch like Seven Samurai and then talk about that. Because that in particular is a really like definitely an influential one.
Yeah. Just see what Star Wars vibes we can get from watching it.
Indeed. Yeah. We could do a series of like special episodes that's like that, and like we could watch some Flash Gordon serials, which is another major influence, you know. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff we could do. But yeah, while I was at Waterloo Records, I did get something.
What'd you get?
I'm gonna show it to Sam on camera, and you will get to hear his reaction before I tell you what it is, just because that's fun for me. Not like I'm pretty sure you'll recognize what this is, but yeah. Anyway, this is what I got.
It's the thing.
It's the thing. Yeah.
It's the thing.
So listeners who can't see with their eyeballs, that's the one. Yeah. So this is
my Coheed and Cambria loving little brother. I love it.
Yes, I got a Coheed and Cambria album. This is one that I've like wanted for a while. That's like it's like their most well known album. This is Coheed and Cambria's.
Yeah. Thank you, Guitar Hero.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. This is their third album called. But actually, so the album art is a giant Roman numeral 4, but at the top is the actual title, which is very long and very tiny text. And
they're pulling some prog rock Sufjan Stevens nonsense over here.
Exactly,
just like the stupid long names.
Yes, I love it. I love it so much. So I believe this is the longest title of any of their albums, and it is the full title is Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness.
Silly. It's silly. I love it.
But shorthand it's the one with the giant Roman numeral 4 on the front, you know.
Yep. It's the Guitar Hero one. Yes. It's fine.
Exactly. So this is like the most iconic Coheed album, and I've wanted this one for a while, but I haven't like seen it anywhere like super common. It's not something you would like find record stores very often, but I found like just a new printing of it at Waterloo Records, and it's really nice. This is the album with Welcome Home on it, which is the one that Sam was singing. It's their most well-known song.
It's so good. Such a good song.
It has Wake Up, which is one of Coheed's like kind of mellower songs. It's very beautiful. It's kind of like a love song.
Is that the one? Is that the one from the Where the Wild Things Are?
No, that's. Thank you for the joke. there was a split second where I was like, I thought you were being serious, and then I realized you were making a joke.
Yeah.
And it
is Wake Up by Coheed and Cambria, not Wake Up by Arcade Fire.
Yeah. It's a very different song, but
same name. Same song. It's fine.
The other most well-known song from this album is 10 Speed of God's Blood and Burial, which is it's a great song, but like the lyrical, it is also a great name. So 10 Speed is about the song is about the writer of the fictional writer of the story that the albums are based on being tormented. This is like 2 fourth wall breaks at once. Yes, exactly. It's about the writer, and he's like being tormented by a hallucination of his bicycle, of his 10-speed bicycle, that's telling him to kill his girlfriend. It's
what? What? That's nuts.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah. It's either to kill his girlfriend or to kill like the character representing his girlfriend in the story or something like that. It's very dark and weird, but it's an excellent song.
It's very silly. That's my favorite. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, you know what? If I got that lore wrong, nobody's gonna point it out because nobody who listens to this podcast cares enough about the lore of Coheed and Cambria. So anyway,
I care enough about what you told me about the lore, but that's as far as I care.
Cool. Yeah. Anyway,
so I believe you. Everything you told me is 100% correct. So
yes. So yeah, that's the thing that I've been up to today. Is I went to Waterloo Records, among other things. I did some other stuff today, but I went to Waterloo Records and hung out there for a bit and found this record and bought it. I still need to get a record player at some point because I still don't have a record player. No.
What?
I've just been like picking up here and there a few different records of like just because I know that I want to get a record player at some point, and I like the collection of them and like having like the music that I really love in a physical form and also with like the big art and stuff, you know, which is nice.
That's real. Just don't get a Crosley. One of those like suitcase record players. Those trash, right? Because I had a Crosley for a while, and before I realized they were like awful, and I had it while me and Sarah were dating, and I got a Bon Iver's like first album, and Sarah and I listened to that on repeat while we were dating, and like especially like that Thanksgiving that she came down while we were dating, and I like wore out the record, and like now when I play it, it sounds all warped and nasty, and like it doesn't. I can't listen to that album anymore on that medium because it trashed it. But if you do like want some recommendations for, I did a lot of research when I got the record player, and I have like the best cheap record player you can get. It's like Audio Technica's. It's Audio Technica's like entry level. Yeah, I think it's the Audio Technica like LP60X. Something like that sounds right. Yeah. Yeah, but I've also done some research on it. Yeah. It was like it's pretty cheap as far as like nice record players go. Like you can replace you can replace the plate, you can replace the needle. Like it's like you can upgrade it if you want to, but like it's nice. Yeah, the one I'm looking at it is an Audio Technica. That's like I think it's like $220 something like that. So you know, pretty budget as far as decent record players go. Because like my understanding is that if you go any cheaper than that you'll get something crappy like a Crosley that will like actually damage your records. Yeah, so, I think we got mine on a Black Friday sale for like $170 or something. Ah, nice. But yeah, something like that. Because it was Sarah's Christmas. It was Sarah's Christmas gift to me this last year. Ah, nice. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, so it's another thing on my list of things to do and to get is to get a record player to actually play. Yeah, so because I now have 3 Coheed albums. I have the soundtrack to the Muppet movie. As you should. And I have the soundtrack to the Muppets Take Manhattan, which I found used at I think at Waterloo Records. That's incredible. Yes, I love that. But yeah, so I was up to that, and then a couple other brief things I wanted to talk about. We're in the what we've been up to segment now. By the way, we just kind of we just we flowed into it from our sponsor conversation into it flowed naturally. Which is why I'm talking about it, to point out the fact that it flowed naturally, to make it flow less naturally now. You know, I hear when you point out transitions, the transitions go better. That's what I hear. Agreed. You also should explain jokes. It makes it funnier. Yeah, and I hear women like, especially to women, they love it when a dude explains things to you. Explain everything. We're, 100%, 1000% joking in case anybody was... I just want to be 100% clear there. Anyway. No, we love mansplaining. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to kick you off this podcast, and it'll just be me, Sam. This podcast was my idea. You can't get me off. Well, I edit them, so, and I have the login to our account for Spotify, so. That's true. That's true. Fair enough. I have the power of the situation. I could do what I want. I could edit it weird so that it sounds like you're saying something like blasphemous. Oh no. Or illegal. I could lose my job. That'd be bad. No. Oops. Okay. So, other things I wanted to talk about. So I've spoken about this, I think, almost every episode since I started playing it, but Powerwash Simulator. Yay! And this may be the last time I talk about Powerwash Simulator. Because I finally... It can't end! Okay, so it's over, but it's also not over. So don't cry, Sam. Don't cry. It is. So I got to the end of the campaign of Powerwash Simulator, of the story mode. So all the main levels, I finally completed them. Who's the final boss of Powerwash Simulator? Well, so I'll tell you actually. Like, it's not a person, obviously, but it's like the final level is like it's very big, so it takes forever. You know, so it is a final boss of sorts. But it's incredible. The final thing you power wash is a newly unearthed ancient pyramid from the lost city of Atlantis. What? Inside of which are a series of murals that portray all of the events of the game that you've already gone through. All the different things you power washed. So you are prophesied. You're fulfilling prophecies. Yes, and there's a statue of a guy that is like holding something that's supposed to look like a power washer, but ancient. It's incredible. And that's amazing.
Yes, and then when you clean the whole pyramid, a giant gem appears at the top. And you have to clean that. When that gets cleaned, it shoots out a laser at the volcano that's about to erupt. Which, by the way, that's the thing.
Is this a Chaos Emerald? It sounds like a Chaos Emerald.
It's kind of a Chaos Emerald, except it's more of a rhombus situation. But
still,
but yeah, it like shoots out a laser, and I think it's supposed to have like stopped the volcano eruption or something. I don't know. It wasn't clear. And then also there's a UFO and a plane that get into a dogfight during the final scene. That just
happens.
This. And
do you have to clean the plane so you can fight better?
I cleaned both of those. I cleaned the UFO and the plane.
Whose side are you on, Jack?
I'm on nobody's side. I'm a gun for hire, man. This is war, Sam. I'm a war profiteer.
Evidently. Oh man.
I'm like DJ from The Last Jedi.
Wow.
Is that his name? I think.
Sure.
He's the guy who does the monologue about how he sells ships to both the First Order and the New Republic. And he's like
that famous actor who's like his character felt really out of place in the movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
What is his name? I'm trying to.
Benicio del Toro. Is that who it is?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Super random. Felt really out of place. It's like you.
Yes, Benicio del Toro.
Don't belong in this cartoon of a movie.
Also, apparently DJ is short for "don't join."
That's not a real name. That's a made-up name.
All of them are made-up names, Sam.
I mean, I know,
all names are made up, especially names in Star Wars.
That one's more made them up than most.
Yeah, like weird names like Luke.
Skywalker's
and Ben.
Name. Yeah.
So yeah, Powerwash Simulator. I got through it all finally, and it was a great game, honestly. Like the level of, you could tell that there was a lot of like love and care that went into this game, like way more than a concept like this you would think like would get. But it was just a pleasant experience. And the best part is, it's actually, there's more. There's a bunch of bonus levels that they've released that you can play. There's the DLC. I still haven't played the Tomb Raider DLC, and there's also SpongeBob SquarePants DLC that you can buy that I'm going to get at some point, I'm sure.
Yes, you are. And
then also they announced that there's going to be Back to the Future DLC where you get to clean the DeLorean and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, the saga of the power washing and simulations is not over, but it has reached an end. You know. Much like in life and much like on this podcast, the content in Powerwash Simulator is unlimited.
Ooh. We love it.
Unlimited power washing.
Unlimited power washing.
Yes. And then I feel like I've taken a lot of time on the podcast already, but I want to mention this one thing real quick.
Do it.
It's cool.
Do it.
So this past week I got something in the mail that I had ordered a while ago. It's very exciting. Sam, have you heard of a video game called Tunic?
I've not. Okay,
so Tunic is a video game that came out, I think, last year, and it's like a game by some indie developers, and it's very like original Legend of Zelda inspired. You play as a little fox in a world that you get dropped into. You can explore and you fight monsters, and the combat's pretty difficult, and there's lots of puzzles and cool things to do and exploration, and it's really good. It's really fun. But the cool thing about it, at least the coolest thing about it, I think, is the kind of the idea of this game was they wanted to recreate the experience of like playing the original Legend of Zelda in the 80s when like you didn't necessarily understand everything and there wasn't like a way to look stuff up on the internet, and you just kind of had to figure everything out for yourself. Mm-hmm. And so what they did is all of the text in game is in like some glyphs that you can't read, and so you have to kind of like there's a way to interpret the language, but it's actually very difficult. I've tried, and it's not like a simple substitution of like this letter's A, this letter's B. It's like its own system of characters and like shapes that all represent different sounds, and I haven't figured out what they it's like, so
it's like a phonetic alphabet, but like
yes, yeah,
that's cool.
Basically. So I haven't figured out how to do that. I may just look it up online just because it's super hard. But yeah, there's that. But then like none of the mechanics and like the way that you're supposed to play the game and like a lot of the secrets and things are not ever explicitly explained to you. But as you explore the world, you find pages of the manual of the game, and you like are slowly collecting pages from the manual, and so and like some of the manual is in English, but a lot of it is also in like the the in-game text.
Yeah.
And so even when you get the manual pages, there's a certain amount of kind of inference and like puzzle solving and like, you know, figuring things out that you have to do. So it's like, it's, you know, a Zelda like action adventure game, but it's also one big puzzle. And there's some really incredible moments in this game. And the manual itself has like, it looks like a paper manual that like somebody printed out and then like scanned in. You know, so it looks at like actually like paper, and there's actually like handwritten notes in pen on some of the pages that like are hints for you, and like that's
cool. Awesome.
So that's Tunic. It's an excellent game, and what I got this past week is the special edition hardcover physical edition of the manual.
Whoa!
So like yeah, it comes in this sleeve, and then it's like this golden thing. It says Tunic
so
instruction book on it.
fancy.
Yeah, and then you open it up, and it's got all the different pages with beautiful illustrations and instructions.
Wow.
And it's super cool. And it's like, sorry, hit my microphone.
How dare you?
Yeah, there's like, you know, just one of the in-game maps, things like that.
That is cool.
It's
Looks
just,
very like Zelda meets Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms
Just
of art style,
very like 90s video game.
Yeah.
It's like, I love it.
Definitely.
And like the glyphs kind of look like the Pokemon Unknown. Is that what it's called?
It does look like Unknown, yeah. It does kind of look like the Unknown, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, there's just...
It's very like rounded, but also angular. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody is interested in... If the description of that game sounded interesting to you, I definitely recommend it. It is pretty difficult at times. Like, I got frustrated by some of the boss fights and stuff. But like, it's very much... I think it's worth it if you're willing to like, you know, put yourself through the paces, or if you're just a better gamer than I am. But yeah, it's very good. It also has one of the coolest puzzles in a video game I think I've ever experienced. It's just such a cool, like, it's one of those puzzles where like once you figure it out, it's like it's hiding in plain sight the whole time, and you figure it out. It's like, what?
That's so satisfying.
I might have to just describe it off podcast to you later, Sam, just because it's so cool and I want to talk to you about it. But
please do.
Yeah. Anyway, it's super cool. It's great. Tunic, and I got the manual. I got it from Fangamer. This is an official product, and it's very nice, and can't wait to have it on my shelf and look at it and lick it and smell it and all the things you do with books. You know.
I do lick my books. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
What else are they for, if not to lick?
That's a great question.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to, is various nerdy media related things. Sam, what have you been up to this past week?
This past week, it's been a busy week, but like busy like work and stuff. But one of the Sarah and I continue to watch through Supernatural, and I think this is my new like fixation, like
excellent,
focusing on things. I love Supernatural. It's so much fun. We got the first 3 seasons on DVD from Half Price Books. And we are like halfway through season 3 right now, so we're probably going to need to go back at some point this week to get a couple more seasons, just so we can like keep up with the fix, because it's so much fun. I love this show. I've also been playing Star Wars Battlefront II, the 2005 best game of all time.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. It's interesting, like playing through this, like knowing what I know about like the actual canon of Star Wars.
Yeah, because this is different.
Because this video game came out the year Revenge of the Sith came out. So
we didn't know anything about like there was nothing canon about like the inhibitor chips or anything, because like in Battlefront 2, it's like they talk about like they know that like what they were sent to do. Like there's like a monologue in the like the level where you storm the Jedi Temple, where the clone is like, we knew what we were sent there to do, and it's like, you know, it was like it has a different energy to it, a different kind of like, you know, gravitas, like, of like
it does.
They knew what they signed up for from the beginning.
Yeah, like this is like the clones were always planning on betraying the Jedi. That's what they were like trained to do, bred to do. They always knew that they were going to betray the Jedi, which is not what's the reality in Star Wars now. But like when it came out, this was the closest thing you had to canon for like what happened like during the Clone Wars. So it's really cool and interesting to just kind of like just wade through all these stories and stuff. And there's a lot of kind of like fun things that like can still be headcanon for Star Wars. Like immediately after episode 3, it would make sense. So like the level you play after the Order 66 level when you storm the Jedi Temple and like just wipe out all the Jedi. The next level you go, it's the first level that you get to be a stormtrooper and not a clone trooper, so you immediately get stormtrooper armor. And it's the narrator change. Like you still get like the Temuera Morrison narrating as a clone from the 501st, but like
is it actually Temuera Morrison?
It is.
That's rad.
It's super cool. But the like the voice in your head that like gives you orders on the battlefield is definitely like an Imperial officer now. Like it's like one of like it sounds like he's British and he's a lot more condescending and not just like in the fight with you, but just like if you lose a battle, he's like, you are a disappointment to the Empire. Lord Vader is not happy with you. Like, oh god,
this isn't fun anymore.
This is scary. But the first level after Order 66, after you storm the Jedi Temple, you go to Naboo to assassinate the Queen. Because Naboo is always like the Emperor's home planet was the most difficult planet to deal with, because like obviously like Padme and the Naboo like would be some of the most like anti-Imperials, like
they already had the guard up basically.
Yeah, and so the first level where you're a stormtrooper, you are like the level ends by you assassinating the Queen of Naboo. Which it's pretty wild. And then the next level you go to Geonosis, because not Geonosis, you go to Mustafar as a stormtrooper fighting battle droids, because the Geonosian has found a battle droid factory on Mustafar, and you have to like go wipe out all the droids and then kill a bunch of Geonosians, and then you like call in like an airstrike to basically blow up the entire facility on Mustafar.
Wow.
It's wild.
That's interesting.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, speaking of facilities blowing up in Mustafar, that also happened in an episode today.
It does happen in this episode today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's, long story short, so much fun to play Battlefront 2 and, like, just learn, like, what was and what could have been with Star Wars. It is super cool, like, alternate history, sort of. Yeah. Like, yeah, that is cool. It's rad. Yep, so right now I am in the level I'm on right now, takes place right after episode 4, right after New Hope. So it's basically you're on. Wow, this goes far. Wow, it does. Yeah. Oh yeah. The final level is Hoth. Is the final level in the game. So they're like, let's stop at episode 5. Well, there was a planned Battlefront 3 that basically they had the game finished but then scrapped it, and then someone uploaded the game online, and so you can mod, like on PC, you can mod Battlefront 2 to play Battlefront 3. Oh, that's awesome. That's one of the things I'm going to try. I want to learn how to mod games. And by that, I mean install mods that other people have made. Yes, yeah. So that's like one of my next things to do once I like beat the story mode on this is try and download Battlefront 3 as a mod to Battlefront 2, because it goes all the way through Return of the Jedi. Because the last battle is you are Darth Vader chasing down Han Solo and Luke Skywalker on Hoth. Ooh, cool. That's the final level. Do you do it? Do you win? Do you kill Luke? I mean, I did when I played it when I was in high school. It was the last time I like really played through this game. But the level I'm on right now, it's after the events of episode 4, right after the Death Star has been destroyed, and you are basically it's a retaliatory strike on like the rebels who are still on Yavin 4 after the Battle of Yavin. So you're like basically just storming Yavin 4 after the Death Star's been destroyed, and just like wiping out as many rebels as you can. It's wild. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So it is nuts. I think there's a Dagobah level later as well, and like you like swamp level. Yeah. It is. It's kind of wild, but yeah, I can talk about this forever. We have 3 episodes of Star Wars that we should talk about. Yes. Yeah. There's one other thing I forgot to mention that I just wanted to just bring up because it's an accomplishment of mine that I'm proud of. Yeah. I as of this last week, I weighed myself again, and I've lost 75 pounds from my starting weight, which is a little over 20% of my body weight. Which is, dude, I'm super freaking proud of you. That's awesome. It's a big chunk. Yeah. Like you proud of yourself? Yeah, I definitely. You should be. Good. I am. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, part of me is like, yes, I'm proud, but also there's part of me that's like,
I can't take all the credit for it because a lot of it is like this medication that I'm taking that's helped a lot. But at the same time, it's like, I still had to like, it's not just that. It's a culmination of a bunch of different, habits and different things that I've started doing, in combination with this medication that just makes it a lot easier, essentially.
Sure.
But
I mean, there's no shame in that. Hey, a win is a win, and you are a better, healthier person for it, and I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm trying not to take too much of the credit away from myself,
Yeah, you should.
Like, but yeah, I feel good.
Good.
Like that I was like looking at some photos of myself earlier from like back when I first started to now, and I can like see a visual difference in like my face and stuff,
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you. I would like to continue losing weight, but it's one of those things where like at some point it might plateau and I just might not be able to lose any more weight. And if that happens, like if that happened now, I would be okay with it because I have already lost so much, and like I'm already in a much healthier place. Like my A1C is down, which is a big fact. Like that's why I was able to start taking this medication, is because it was for diabetes. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like way out of that zone basically in terms of my blood sugar. So like I've already had that major benefit from it, and I feel better, and I think I look a bit better. And so it's like, if I didn't lose any more weight after this, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'd like to, lose more, just mostly for just like, I mean, for health reasons, but also just like for appearances and, yeah, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'll take whatever I can get. If this is it, then that's fine. If not, then I'll just, I'll keep going, and that'll be great too. So
sweet. That's awesome. Yeah. Happy for you.
So yeah, just wanted to document that.
Indeed. I realized there was an episode of Ahsoka this week that we haven't talked about yet.
Oh jeez, guys, we have so much to talk about.
I know.
What? How did we forget? This is the Ezra episode too.
He's back.
This is the Ezra Thrawn episode.
Yeah. How do we not?
Yeah. So guys, there was an Ahsoka episode.
Oh man, this was a wild episode.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna go off the top of my head. I don't have notes in front of me for this episode, but some memorable things that jumped out. Number one, Huyang might be the narrator of all of Star Wars.
Yes, I loved that moment at the beginning of the episode when, like, right before the title card comes up. So it was like, you should tell me one of those stories. And Huyang's like, all right, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. And then it cuts to the title screen, and I was like, oh, yes. That's the first time, at least in canon, that anybody's ever said that out loud in Star Wars. And B, I love, like, my new headcanon is the fact that, like, is that Huyang is, like, the story of Star Wars is him, like, another 1,000 years in the future telling this in another galaxy, like, being the narrator of everything. I like that idea.
Yeah, me too. I still do like my idea that it's R2D2. It's not my idea, but the idea that it's R2D2.
Yeah.
It was because R2D2 is in every major Star Wars event, and so it makes sense that he could catalog everything. But maybe it's kind of like a R2 Huyang buddy cop kind of thing going on. Yes,
maybe.
I like that.
Yeah, I like to imagine that C-3PO goes and, like, retires on an island somewhere, and
with his new red arm.
With his new red arm. Did you notice what
I can't recognize me.
Red arm. Best joke of the sequel trilogy.
That's the best thing. The best thing about the sequel trilogy, the new red arm. And they fly now.
That's not how the Force works. Anyway, there are some good moments in the sequel.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like the idea that, like, C-3PO goes and, like, retires on an island somewhere to, like, just get away from the chaos of it all. He's like, he's finally had enough. He's just fed up with it, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna, relax my circuits, or whatever he says. Gets in an oil bath every day, or what, whatever droids do. And then R2D2's like, R2D2 never retires because he's like, he's got a thing for adventure, and so he just keeps going. Like, he and Huyang go on adventures, like telling tales and doing things. Yeah.
Love it.
But anyway, that tangent aside, a bunch of stuff happened this episode.
Yes.
So I don't think that's the only bit that we see Huyang and Ahsoka in, right? Because the rest of the episode is just us following Sabine, and also seeing Thrawn. Yeah, so Thrawn is there, and predictably, He's great.
He's great.
He's amazing.
Terrifying. His music is just as good as I remember it in Clone Wars and Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only Star Wars character who gets an organ to be part of his like theme. The only time you ever hear an organ playing is Thrawn, which is
excellent.
Like, the Emperor doesn't even get organ. Like like he gets like bassy baritone dudes singing. Yeah. So he gets that, but Thrawn gets an organ.
Yeah, which like,
is so much cooler.
What is more classically villainous than an organ, right?
No.
Like, it's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great. The voice, I it sounds exactly as he did in Rebels, which is great and also kind of surreal to like hear that voice coming out of a real person Thrawn instead of animated Thrawn, but it's great, you know.
Yeah, and he has the mannerisms down, like the facial expressions, just kind of like that kind of sly grin that he has when when you can tell he feels he has the upper hand. He's always kind of like has this either poker face or a sly grin, and it's so scary. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Also, yeah. Side note: I had forgotten that when like at the end of Rebels, when Ezra like takes Thrawn into the unknown regions, I forgot that they brought a Star Destroyer with them.
Oh yeah, the Chimera is there.
Yeah, so when I it's called the Chimera, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's the coolest name for any ship.
Yes, Thrawn gets all the coolest villain things.
He does.
Yeah. He might not have the Force or a lightsaber, but he has all the other coolest villain things.
Yeah.
So, so like when that Star Destroyer showed up, my first reaction was, "How did they get a Star Destroyer here?" And then I remember.
Yeah. And I love that. Shows up. When you first see the Star Destroyer, you can see like where the Purrgil grabbed onto it at the end of Rebels. Like you can see like it's been wrecked. But then as it like gets closer, you can see it's been repaired with gold. And like it's
really? I didn't even know.
It was the same way that like Enoch, his like right hand man clone trooper, like has like a gold face. It's been repaired with gold, and like you get a lot of like Kintsugi like broken stuff like filled in with gold. Like stormtroopers have like Kintsugi helmets, and the Chimera itself like is patched with gold.
I noticed that there was like lighter colors on it. Like I said, I didn't like put two together. That was like a golden repair stuff. I thought it was just like exposed like lower layers of the.
I mean, some of it is, but a lot of it is like the gold and like the same kind of like patterns you see on like the big hyperspace ring that flew in, and like the gold little like escape pod ship, the landing ship that they took to the.
Which, by the way, I love the aesthetic of these ships. The like the hyperspace ring and that little ship. It's just it feels Star Warsy, but it also feels sort of like otherworldly and mystical, and like it's very fancy looking.
Fancy, like almost like Art Nouveau kind of like really cool.
Really, but more angular. Yeah.
If there was like an Art Nouveau Cybertruck, that's kind of what it looked like.
Art Nouveau Cybertruck is the name of my new band.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and also maybe it's the name of this new episode is Art Nouveau Cybertruck.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. Speaking of the stormtroopers, there's like zombie, like they look like zombies, don't they? They look like zombie stormtroopers.
I think they're all reanimated, or just like or maybe it's just the armor, like Marok or whatever his name was, from like the first couple episodes. That like when Sabine killed him, he was just like or not Sabine, Ahsoka.
He like just poofed away.
Yeah, it was just like a green fart cloud. It was like all that came out.
So I think maybe that's all those were, or like it's either it's that, or it's like just all the stormtroopers that were left on the ship and they like turned into a cult, and now that's what their armor looks like. But
yeah,
I don't know.
But I think it's just all Night Sister magic.
Which I think would be rad.
It's super rad. Also, one of the things that's like extra scary about it is like in like I saw somebody post on the subtitles for like whenever it talks about the magic of the Night Sisters, it's spelled with ICK, like just kind of like, which is like magic with a CK instead of just a C, which just makes it seem that much creepier. And
it's like that's how you spell evil magic.
Like, there's Harry Potter magic and there's magic.
Evil magics. Yeah,
dark ancient magic.
Also, what are they? Are they called shadow troopers? Is that what they said they're called? I feel like I don't know if they say it out loud, but it's in the subtitles. I remember it's saying like when they like shout Thrawn, it was like troopers. And I think it was like dark troopers or shadow troopers or something. I think it was shadow because I think dark troopers is a different thing.
Yeah, dark troopers is the one that what's his face from Mandalorian, his like robot stormtroopers.
Yeah,
Those are dark troopers.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. Yeah. Anyway, so that's cool. And then so Sabine meets Thrawn again, and it which is a cool like reunion moment. He's like, "Oh, Miss Wren, what a surprise! What a pleasant surprise to see somebody from my past." Kind of thing.
Yeah. And then how like the Night Sister Great Mother's like sensed that there was a Jedi in their midst. It's like, this place reeks of Jedi, and like everyone kind of just looks at Sabine, and Sabine's like, "Who, me? Like, no way you're talking about me."
yeah. Which is honestly, that's kind of cool that it's like it's almost sort of like validating her as a Jedi. The fact that like, oh, you smell like a Jedi.
Yeah, because Shin Hati looked at Balin, and Balin was like, "Not me," and everyone just like the camera continued to pan to Sabine. She's like, I just had like this kind of like surprise dump, and like. Oh, you're talking about me. Oh, yeah. No, that's not.
I mean, she has a lightsaber with her. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what reeks of Jedi means. But...
I know. Well, I mean, it's Ezra's lightsaber. It's not technically her lightsaber. So
yeah. So anyway, but yeah. So I guess just skipping through the events of the episode a little bit. Sabine gets basically let go and is thrown off into the wilderness on her own with like a tracking device and her lightsaber. And a big old like dog rat thing that she rides around.
Yeah, it's like a horse-sized dog with the face of a bat. But like, but like an alligator mouth.
Yes, it's very weird, but also like
it's very Star Wars animal.
Yes, and it was very like at first I was like, ew, this is meant to be like a creepy, nasty, gross animal. But then as soon as you see like Sabine and it interacting, it's like you're immediately endeared to it. Like, oh, puppy.
Oh, it's a puppy horse. It's a puppy horse.
Yeah, which is great. So then she rides off. She ends up fighting some guys in what is a really cool like fight scene. Like she kicks ass.
Oh yeah,
definitely. It was a super cool sequence. Like the tracking device is like broken in the process. But she fights like these raiders basically and wins, and then just ends up kind of walking in a direction until the bat dog thing is like, I've got a scent. And she's like, "You have scent?" And then they follow it, and it comes to a rock, and they're like, "You wanted a rock?" But then it gets up, and it's a turtle person.
Yeah, it's not just a boulder. It's a rock.
It's a rock. The pioneers used to ride these babies for miles. So,
but it was hermit crab people.
Yes, the little hermit crab turtle people. And they. Sabine notices that he's like wearing a little symbol that has like the kind of a thing around his neck that has the like the Rebel Alliance symbol on it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Where'd you get this? Do you know Ezra Bridger?" And he's like, "Ezra Bridger."
Yeah, because it wasn't Rebel Alliance. It was Phoenix Squadron. It was like little.
Was it the Phoenix Squadron?
It was the Phoenix Squadron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so more specifically, it was probably Ezra. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't.
So do you know Ezra? Thing. And then yeah. So then a bunch of the other turtle people pop up, and they all lead her and the dog thing, horse, bat, whatever, to their little village where they live in like these little huts, and it's adorable and great. And then they walk around a corner and they find Ezra with his beard and his Moses outfit.
Yeah, he really is Moses in exile, like Prince of Egypt Moses.
He looks very similar to Moses from the Prince of Egypt movie, like the animated movie.
Like same color scheme, same shape of his beard. Like,
yes.
Same shaggy hair. Like it's Moses from Prince of Egypt.
Yes. Which so Ezra's back, which is amazing.
Yes.
I felt like the initial reunion of them coming back together was like they eventually hugged, but it was like very kind of like coy, like, so I guess you found me sort of thing, which I felt like after so many years of them being apart and her like searching and him being in exile and everything, that it would be like an immediate like, oh my god, let's hug each other sort of moment.
Yeah.
But, it was but I feel like Star Wars tends to tone down a lot of the like relationship stuff and emotional stuff when it comes to like more lovey-dovey stuff, I guess, which is not necessarily what
Star Wars doesn't do romance. What are you talking about? Come on.
Yeah, we got Han and Leia, and that was kind of it.
Like, yeah, it was all
that was the most like
too.
Flirting we saw on
it was just
on screen.
Implied
was just
off-camera stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, once they like once they reunited, it was like after, like that moment felt a little like disappointing to me and kind of weird that like they weren't immediately like, oh my god, I missed you, but then like once they did, like, it was like, okay, they're back together. And also I think the actor they got to play Ezra is great. He feels like
he's
a perfect
perfect.
Ezra.
He's perfect.
He's
like
as sounds
as perfect as the actress who plays Sabine is perfect.
Yes, they definitely feel like both in terms of their look and their performances, feels like they just stepped out of Rebels into this. Yeah, they did a great job. I'm looking up the Ezra actor.
Iman Estefani, I think is his name.
Oh, yes, that was it. Okay, you got it already.
I follow him on Twitter. He's funny.
Oh, cool.
He's definitely just like one of the fans, but like happens to be playing.
Oh, awesome.
Like, he's a Star Wars fan who happens to be in Star Wars. Like
that's always excellent.
He's a goober. I like him. Like cool. He's the perfect person to play Ezra because like his online personality feels very Ezra-ish. Like just like like very like I don't know, just like personable, friendly. Likes to stir the pot a little bit. Like if like he like sees like Star Wars trolls, he'll troll them right back and be like, no, you're dumb.
Kind of wisecracking a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, shout out to you. Come be a guest on our podcast. Yeah, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are.
Oh yeah,
Iman,
I'm sure you're listening.
You're great.
It's been funny because like it was like kind of announced, I think, right before the writer strike started, that like an actor strike, that he was going to be playing Ezra in Ahsoka. So he hasn't like said anything online other than just like retweeting things and like just retweeting fan theory kind of stuff and like liking stuff and like just like referencing vaguely things. But did you hear that the strike might be over?
I heard that they had some sort of meeting over the weekend, some sort of negotiation.
I mean, I saw like 15 minutes before we started recording that they might have reached a tentative agreement. The Writers Guild. Yeah, the Writers Guild might have reached a tentative agreement. So it'll be fun. Anyway. It was a great episode of Ahsoka. And then I want to talk about like the last thing was kind of with Baylan and Shin. And Baylan's kind of monologue that he went on. What is Baylan talking about? I'm scared.
So for context, he basically has this monologue about like, we are neither Jedi nor Sith, we are something greater, and like, you know, what exactly does that mean? Like I guess like this whole time I kind of assumed that they were just sort of like Sith light, you know, they're like they're like dark side users are like, we're not Sith, we're cooler than the Sith, but they're just Sith basically. But like, I don't know, the way he talks about it makes it seem like there's something else going on. Like, he has these grand aspirations. The
initial vibes I got from Baylan and Shin was very much like I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom, but like Sith. Like that was the vibe.
I'm not like other girls.
That was like the vibe, and I'm like, oh, there's actually something here. Did you ever play the Knights of the Old Republic games by any chance?
I did not. It's on my 2 playlist, definitely. Okay. But
so I started the first one and got stuck and haven't picked it up since. Cool. But I saw a fan theory from somebody who played the second one, Knights of the Old Republic 2. And apparently, like one of the main villains in Knights of the Old Republic 2 had a monologue very similar to Baylan's monologue in this episode, and that character wanted to kill the Force.
Oh my god. Does that mean, do you think, okay, so I've seen some other theories talking about like how these like these episodes of this series relates to the Mortis arc from Clone Wars, and you know, the father, the daughter, and the son, and like, do you think that we'll see them again, and B, that like, do you think Baylan's goal is to like kill the father and the son and the daughter and be like,
that'd be nuts.
The Force is dead? Go and kill the Bendu or something? Like, man,
that'd be insane.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if Dave Filoni's swinging for the fences, which he clearly is.
Yeah, like we're halfway through the show, and we already got Anakin Skywalker and Rex in a Force vision in the world between worlds. So like, there's not much, and we got Thrawn. So it's like there's not much further we can like. Right. All bets are off already.
Yeah, the only way it can get like even more is like, one, if the Bendu shows back up, or if we get like Force Ghost Kanan Jarrus. Like,
yes, which would be amazing.
It'd be nuts.
Who do you think? I feel like they could just get Freddie Prinze Jr. to play.
Oh yeah, he would do it.
Yeah. I mean, he would do it, obviously, but like, I think he looks enough the part. You know,
yes.
Put him in the outfit.
Yeah, just give him a wig and a goatee and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give him a mask thing.
Yeah. Or everyone else has like the weird contact. Everyone else has the weird contacts. Just give him weird contacts to make him look blind, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Do you think like? Well, that's a good question of like, you know, how somebody appears in the Force after they're dead. Like Anakin looks like, you know, Episode 3 Anakin and not Darth Vader. And not like, you know, not like old man, wrinkled, white, bald Darth Vader man with robot legs. So I wonder like how would Kanan look if he reappeared? Would he look, you know, like blind Kanan, or would he look pre-blind Kanan, or would he be like blind Kanan just without the mask, or you know?
I don't know. I think it's whatever fits the scenario, because Anakin was switching between how he was appearing in that whole
That's
true.
Because
he first showed up as Episode 3 Anakin, and then they went back to like beginning of the Clone Wars, and he was like had shorter hair and had his Clone Wars armor on, which was
and they
amazing.
de-aged him a bit. Yeah,
they de-aged him even more than they already did, and then he went back to being Episode 3 Anakin, and then started acting more like Vader, and then like we saw the Vader outfit in like a couple like lightning flashes. So like it's whatever the Force thinks is most apt for the moment. I think is how
that makes sense.
they present. So it could be any
the beholder.
Yeah, so it could be any version of Kanan, which would get the point across most to whoever Kanan is appearing to.
Yeah,
my thought.
Super wild fan theory.
I love it.
Of
that is
right now.
That is the segment we're in right now.
Is the wild fan theories.
Bonkers / unhinged theories about what's currently out in Star Wars. That is that is yes.
Yeah. So I don't remember if we've had this discussion yet, but like I know that there's been some discussion online, at least, about like the idea that maybe like at this point has Anakin basically replaced the son or replaced the father or whatever to be like, you know, he is the balance in the Force now, so he's taken over that role.
Yes.
And if that's the case, do you think that Baylan will eventually go to the World Between Worlds and fight Anakin? Like, wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I thought that was a thought that occurred to me that would be like, oh my god, what if the finale of this show is Ahsoka and Force Anakin versus Baylan and Shin-Hati in the World Between Worlds, while like I don't know, while Ezra while Sabine is like in the real world fighting Thrawn or something. Like I don't know, or like sometimes the entire Ghost crew is there, and it's just the Ghost crew fighting Thrawn. Yeah. Speaking of which, we haven't seen Zeb yet. Which I don't know if we'll get to see him, because we're already like, I mean, I assume at some point within the show, like within the next couple episodes, they'll probably go back.
There's only 2
to
episodes
the main
left.
Galaxy. Oh man, you're right.
I know.
I want to see Zeb.
I know. I mean, it's just the finale part 1 and 2 is what's left. So,
Jesus, man, it feels like there's so much more story to tell, which I mean is probably true.
I think that's the point.
Yeah, this is them setting up for the next thing, but still, I'm like, just keep going forever.
I know, because I think they're gonna start following the Marvel like pattern of things, like just like a bunch of interconnected stories that build into like an Avengers level threat kind of thing. Yes. So Thrawn's an
Avengers level threat.
Thrawn is an Avengers level threat. Thrawn's, I mean, like this entire like post Return of the Jedi stuff is kind of centered around Thrawn and the Rise of the First Order. So yeah,
which to me, like the Rise of the First Order in this story has been a lot more interesting than like the existence of the First Order in like the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
it's like once they showed up, it was like, oh, it's just the war again. You know?
Yeah. Well, it helps that like there's actually thought going into this. But
yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do like your theory about the father and the son and the daughter and Baylan. That'd be fun. I do sincerely believe that Anakin has replaced the father as the perfect balance of the Force, because I think we're seeing, because like in episode 5 we just saw Anakin / Vader just like in balance with himself.
Yeah, he uses both of them. Yeah,
and he was able to just like go between each, and it was perfect. So I do think that he is that. I think we had this. I asked this question before. Correct me if I didn't. But who, like, if the father's been replaced by a current era Star Wars character, who would replace the son and the daughter?
I think the daughter has to be Ahsoka.
Yes.
Like, because of Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship already is very kind of like big brother, little sister sort of, and also because like she's already followed around by Moirai, who's like the personification of the daughter, right?
It's true.
So, like,
but we haven't seen the bird yet in the show.
I'm sure she'll show up at some point. I would think so.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yes, she's already got like an actual solid connection to the daughter. Like, I think the daughter actually like saves her life, doesn't she? Something like that in the Mortis arc.
That sounds right. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And then the son, I don't know. Could it be like? I feel like Ezra's too young to like.
Well, the son kind of, because the daughter represents the light side of the Force.
Yeah.
And the son represents the dark side.
Right. So could it be Balin or Shin or? I don't know.
I think
Maul. Theory?
Maul.
Oh, yeah. I guess it doesn't have to be somebody that's alive, does it? Because Anakin's dead.
Yeah, Anakin's dead.
So, yeah. Honestly, I like that idea. I feel like if anybody would be a good replacement for the brother, it would be Maul. Yeah. He definitely feels like, honestly, he's one of the wisest, I think, like dark side Force users, if for no other reason that he just went through so much and he kind of saw through, like, you know, he started as a Sith and then got betrayed by the Sith and then was just kind of on his own for a while, and eventually he was like...
He was just a pure dark side user in the same way that Ahsoka is a pure light side user.
Yeah. And yeah, by the end of, like, there was not really a redemption, but a sort of understanding that Maul had by the end of his life, where when his last words were to Obi-Wan saying, "Avenge us," you know?
Yeah.
Like, he was very just like, he'd gone through a journey. It was clear that, like, you know, Maul now was very different from Maul in Episode 1, who was very different from Maul in Episode in the Clone Wars. Like, you know, he'd gone through so many different phases of his life, and, like, you know, eventually just, like, you know, gave into his lust for hatred and revenge, and, you know, anyway, I'm rambling, but yeah, I agree. I think Maul would be a good choice for that.
Cool. I love it. All right. Any other bonkers or unhinged theories about what's currently out in Star Wars?
I think actually R2-D2 is going to be the brother.
Yeah, no, by that.
No, Chopper's the brother. Chopper's the reason.
No, that makes more sense. Oh, droid versions of father, sister, brother. Droid versions.
Okay. Brother would obviously be Chopper.
Yes.
Father would be Hu Yang.
Yes.
I feel like. And daughter, there are no female-coded droids, almost. Like,
it's R2KT. It's the R2KT.
It's R2KT, because that's one of the three girl droids we know of.
Yeah, it's the pink one. The pink one.
Yeah. Do you know the story of R2KT, by the way?
I do.
Yeah.
You want to tell it to our dear listeners who maybe don't know?
So I vaguely... Correct me if you know the story better than I do, but
Sure.
Basically there was a young girl who... I think her father was like in the 501st or something, and she was a huge Star Wars fan, and she died at a young age of cancer or some terminal illness, and as a tribute to her, like, they made this droid R2KT, which is basically just R2D2 but like with pink, and it was a droid kind of designed and made for her. And then that droid ended up like becoming canon, and like they brought her into some of the Star Wars, like, I think
you can see in the background
in some of the movies, in some of the sequels, and I think she's like in one of the animated shows at least, like maybe the Clone Wars, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the girl's name was Katie, so that's why it's R2KT.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah, it is adorable. Very sad. I remember I read like a really long, I think it was a Tumblr post where I saw the story, and I am a girl dad, and I cried reading that. It was very...
You're a Star Wars girl dad, too.
I am a Star Wars girl dad, yeah. Marion is starting to show interest in Star Wars. I'm excited. Yeah, like, she'll see Star Wars on... Yeah, she'll, like, see, like, we'll be scrolling through Disney Plus, and I'll be like, hey, you want to watch Star Wars? She's like, yeah! And then I'll put it on, like, no, I want Mickey Mouse. I'm like, okay, fine. But, like...
Mickey Mouse, the ultimate Force user.
Yes.
He's a Keyblade wielder.
He is a Keyblade wielder. That's true. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, fellas, did somebody say the door to darkness? There's this YouTube video that's just like, it's just a compilation of it called Kingdom Hearts Out of Context, and it's just a bunch of ridiculous moments from Kingdom Hearts. And one of them is
so
Mickey
it's
Mouse.
all the moments from Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, but it's like it's one of them is Mickey Mouse walking into a room and he's wearing a black hood and he says, "Hey fellas, did somebody say the door to darkness?" It's like, thanks, Mickey. And then there's the part where Goofy dies, but not really. But like they think Goofy's dead, and Mickey's like, "They'll pay for this," and then like throws off his coat and runs into battle with his Keyblade.
That's amazing.
And then Goofy gets somebody's like, "Oh, hey fellas, I got hit by that rock pretty hard." Anyway.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I think that's it for our pre-discussion segment. We need to get into these episodes because
Cad Bane's here now.
Indeed. Before I need to fill up my water. I'm gonna take a break real quick. Yeah, I need to get some water. I'm thirsty. I'm parched. I'll be right back.
This isn't going as planned. Nothing to see here.
All right, Sam, are you ready for our main segment where we're going to be discussing 3 episodes this week? That's Clone Wars Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3, Holocron Heist, Cargo of Doom, and Children of the Force?
Yeah, the Cad Bane arc.
Yes.
The first Cad Bane arc.
Yes. Which, so exciting. This is another major Clone Wars character that also ends up being important not only later in the Clone Wars, but also he shows up later in The Mandalorian.
So, in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Wait, is it just the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is basically most of that show is like...
It's Mandalorian Season 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah. The best parts of that show are The Mandalorian Season 2.5.
Indeed.
And part of that is Cad Bane, which is great.
Yeah. Hey, we're in Season 2.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, this is the first 3 episodes of Season 2. Very exciting.
Yep. First episode is called Holocron Heist.
Indeed.
And the moral of this episode, which takes place in 21 BBY, is a lesson learned is a lesson earned.
We got some rhyming there. It's a good one.
Jedi trapped on Felucia. Clones are surrounded by droid forces. Their only hope is to escape on Republic gunships waiting to land on the embattled surface. Jedi cruisers have managed to blow a hole in the droid defenses and have set up gunships to the rescue.
Yay! All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Hey, would you mind reading the?
I can do that.
Yeah, my throat hurts today. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me cough first. Hold on. I muted so that you wouldn't have to endure my coughs, or so I wouldn't have to edit them out, really.
So you wouldn't have to infect our audience.
Yeah, sorry. Don't worry, audience. I'm wearing a mask, and I'm vaxxed for the blue shadow virus. Okay. On Felucia, Jedi cruisers arrive to evacuate the planet. Republic gunships, escorted by a fighter squadron commanded by Jedi Master Plo Koon, break through the Separatist blockade surrounding Felucia to evacuate Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka Tano, and their troops. The former are outnumbered, with droids closing in on them. However, Ahsoka is elsewhere, sending a pack of droids running. Obi-Wan explains to his Padawan through the comlink that the group she is chasing are regrouping with the main force and orders her to retreat. Ahsoka is in disbelief that her master is telling her to run, and is insistent on continuing. Anakin brings his gunship in front of her and orders her and her troops to get on. Later, at the Jedi Temple in Coruscant, Anakin and Ahsoka are before the Council for the latter's lack of foresight. The Council sends Ahsoka to the Jedi Archives for guard duty under Madame Jocasta New's Eye, who is the librarian of the place where if they don't have it, it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Jocasta tells Ahsoka that she has a specific duty to defend the Holocron Vault, where the Order keeps their collection of holocrons. Only Council members are allowed in. Elsewhere in Coruscant, Cad Bane is contacted by Darth Sidious. Cad Bane!
Dun, dun, dun.
Blue skin, red eyes, cowboy hat McGee.
Yep.
I love him.
It's Clint Eastwood Thrawn.
Yeah, that is a really good description of it, actually. Yeah, Cad Bane is such a cool, fun character. He's like an alien space alien space cowboy bounty hunter, and he's got like jet boots so he can fly around, and he's good with the pistol, and he's got like a whip that he can grab things with, and he's gone toe to toe with Jedi multiple times and come out the victor, or at least gotten in the way, which is impressive for any like non-Force user. Indeed. Obviously. And yeah, so he's just a really cool character, and definitely one of the most competent like Star Wars characters there is.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Yeah, Cad Bane. Cad Bane is contacted by Darth Sidious, who hires him to steal a holocron from the temple. Bane considers it suicide, as the temple is well guarded. Sidious assures him that he will ensure that he will gain entrance. Bane demands in return a stealth ship with elite weapons, cloaking device, and triple his usual pay. He then places a device in his helper droid, Todo 360, which, by the way, this little droid, what a fun little guy.
Yeah.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
And then he blows up. But then we get, I guess we get a new Todo later, because he still has that droid like in the Bad Batch, right? And I think he calls it Todo. I assume it's like a new one.
He probably like backs up like the personality and memories of Todo, and then like just installs it in the fresh.
Yeah.
Thing.
Oh, actually, I'm reading here. Actually, I went to his page. It says, after the job of the Jedi Temple, Todo was rebuilt by Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker in an attempt by the Jedi to learn more about Cad Bane and discover his whereabouts. The plan went wrong and Todo escaped. So it's the same guy. It just somehow he survived being blown up from the inside.
Wow.
Man, maybe he's MVP. Because, like, man, how did you do that?
Maybe. When did that happen?
I don't know. It's in a later episode, I guess. It must have been in a later campaign.
Star Wars Clone Wars episode called Evil Plans, which is
it? It's probably like the arc where he like he tries to assassinate Padme, I think.
It's season 3, episode 8.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there's a prequel to Hostage Crisis. What's Hostage?
Yeah, I think Hostage Crisis is the one where he's like, yeah, I think that's the arc where he tries to kill Senator.
Yeah, seems right. All right, we'll get there.
Yeah, we will get there eventually. Unless it takes unlimited time to get there.
Impossible.
It's possible.
Oh. Anyway.
So he demands a ship and a bunch of money. He then places a device in his helper droid, Todo 360, under the pretense of fixing a system crash. Also, Bane installs a security chip into Todo, giving him access to all of the temple security measures. His partner, Cato Parasiti, a Claudite bounty hunter, who is a shapeshifter, a changeling. Which, by the way, it's so interesting that we have another changeling bounty hunter. Like,
hired by another bounty hunter.
Yes. Man, I guess female changeling bounty hunters really just like they have a thing for getting hired by other bounty hunters to take in the fall.
Yeah. For like the 2 best bounty hunters in the galaxy.
Yep. So his partner, Cato Parasiti, a Claudite bounty hunter, then arrives. Bane tells her to take the form of Jedi Master Ord Innocence, whose corpse is in his room to help him gain access to the vault. So Cad Bane has already killed a Jedi. That's how powerful this guy is.
Yeah, when we meet him, he has a body of a Jedi in his room.
Just casually, he's like, "Oh yeah, I got you one."
Yeah, man. I wonder. No, probably not. It would cheapen the character a little bit, but I wonder if Sidious gave him that.
I mean, I guess that's possible, but
that's
totally possible. But like,
it's
I like to
possible,
imagine that it was just him.
Indeed, it's much more fun.
Yeah, like by the end of this arc, I was very like, man, Cad Bane is like just straight up evil. Like I remember how like cool he is as a character, and that's mostly what I remember him for. But after this, I'm like, man, he murdered a Jedi and then got somebody to impersonate him to break into the Jedi archives to steal a holocron, which he did successfully while also bombing the Jedi Temple, then left and kidnapped several children to send them to a Sith Lord to be tortured and possibly killed. And he's like, you know what? If the money's good. On Mustafar. He sent them to the evil lava planet.
Yeah. He sent them to the Bowser's Castle of the Star Wars universe.
It is the Bowser's Castle of the Star Wars universe. Yeah. I mean, like, man, what a big butt.
He's a big butt.
Is.
Anyway. He's very skinny. He doesn't have a big butt, but he's a big butt.
That's true. He doesn't have big butt, but he does have big boots.
He has big boots. Those boots
big jets on them.
Made for flying.
I'm glad we were both on the same page with that.
Indeed.
Okay. Jedi Master Ord Innocence, whose corpse is in his room to help him gain access to the vault. At the temple, during a briefing, Yoda senses a shift in the Force and determines that thieves will arrive at the temple. Anakin and Obi-Wan inaccurately deduce that their enemies are after their transmission codes and go to secure their location. Meanwhile, Kato infiltrates the temple disguised as Ord. However, she is barred by Ahsoka, who asks Ord if he needs help. Kato tries waving her off, but the Padawan's pestering results in her snapping at Ahsoka. She then gains access to the temple's schematics, telling Bane and Toto where to get in. They get through the shielding and the fans before coming upon a laser grid. Anakin and Obi-Wan quickly catch on when the sensors begin a blackout. Meanwhile, Jocasta approaches Kato as Master Ord at her console, asking why Ord, quote-unquote, is working when the temple is on high alert. Kato responds by knocking her out immediately and taking her appearance. She then returns to her work, telling Bane on how to disable the lasers, while Toto drew a hole in the ventilation system. Ahsoka soon notices and engages Kato in a lightsaber duel. Because of her preoccupation, Bane detonates a small charge by the grid as the Jedi follow Toto's trail. The droid soon arrives at the communications center, at which time a beeping is heard from him. Mace Windu quickly realizes that there is a bomb inside him and force pushes him into the vent as he explodes. Anakin and Obi-Wan get away just in time. Ahsoka then contacts them, having learned from Kato that Bane is after the vault. However, Bane had completed his objective and sneaked out of the temple with a holocron, disguising himself with a Jedi robe, which, what a convenient, the fact that, in order to disguise yourself as a Jedi, you can just put on a robe and people are like, wow, this guy must be a Jedi.
I know. I mean, if it works for Jar Jar, it can work for Cad Bane.
Honestly, yeah. However, Kato gives one more clue. Bala Rapal. Windu realizes that Bane is after the missing Jedi, who is the keeper of the Kyber crystal, that with the holocron could crack the data on the crystal, which contains information listing all the Force-sensitive children in the galaxy, the future of the Jedi Order. Obi-Wan stays on Coruscant to search for Bane, while Anakin and Ahsoka track down Rapal in the Deveron system. End of episode 1. Yay!
This was a fantastic introduction to Cad Bane.
It wasn't, yeah. It was we get an idea of his reputation in that, the Emperor, directly contacts him and is yeah, sure, I'll pay you triple your fee and give you all these ships and stuff. I want you to go steal from the Jedi Temple. And then he does it. He's super smart about it the whole way. He makes his way through the security system stuff with the help of an inside woman. And then he does, the master stroke of it is when he he anticipates going into this that they won't be expecting that someone's going to be stealing a holocron. They would expect that it would be something related to the war. And so that, they're like, he's going to the communications tower so we can get our secrets and stuff. And he assumes that that's what's going to happen.
Right.
That he knew that was going to give him time. And then he knew that, their next guess would be, he's going to the communications, room or wherever to, so that's why he cuts the hole in to, send, A, to send Toto down there, but B, to, give Anakin and Obi-Wan, a way to go of, this is obviously the way that they win. But it was, it's a red herring. So it was, a deliberately placed, decoy path for them, which I thought was really smart.
It was very smart.
Yeah. So that was cool. It was a cool episode, cool heist. I love a good heist.
I love a good heist. And this arc is about to get a lot darker. Yeah,
because we're about to get some child kidnapping in.
Indeed. Indeed, we are.
All right. Well, one other thing I wanted to note that I noticed before we move on to the next episode is this episode. Along with several other episodes, I think maybe some that we've already seen, but I just noticed it now. Paul Dini is one of the writers. Is the writer of this episode. Do you know who Paul Dini is, Sam?
I don't, but that's a cool name.
Yeah. So Paul Dini is a writer known for working in animation. He is one of the lead writers and producers on a bunch of Warner Brothers animated series, specifically Batman the Animated Series. Superman the Animated Series and Tiny Toon Adventures and Freakazoid and some other stuff. He was also apparently a writer on the Droids and Ewoks animated series.
I don't even remember that.
Is it was old. They're older shows, and they were not great. They're like in the 80s. They were like these. They're not like fondly looked back on.
Oh,
really.
I think I remember seeing those.
As far as I understand,
they're on Disney Plus now, aren't they? I think they are like
Probably,
legacy
yes,
Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, he did. If he's a writer on Batman the Animated Series, I mean, that's Cad Bane is a great character to write for if you've written for Batman.
Oh yeah, he's a very Batman villain kind of character. Yeah.
He also, like, if Batman was a villain, is Cad Bane.
Kind of, yeah. Very cunning and smart and like multi-skilled and anticipates his
like moves. Batman could go toe to toe with powered individuals and like usually won. Cad Bane does the same thing. Cad Bane, wow, Cad Bane and Batman. Never would have thought, but now it makes sense.
Yeah, you know. Also, fun fact: Paul Dini, along with Bruce Timm, co-created the characters of Harley Quinn and Terry McGinnis.
Oh,
so the more you know.
Yeah,
that's
Batman
the Paul
Beyond.
Dini that wrote this episode.
Nice.
Indeed.
That all fits. I like that.
Yep.
That's why I love it. I mean, that makes sense why I love this episode so much, with this whole arc, because Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond was like most of what I watched in like elementary, middle school. Was like all of that. So I grew up on that stuff. Yeah. Sweet.
Excellent. So yeah, I guess let's move on to the next episode. Cargo of Doom. Boom. You want me to read the plot summary or the moral and
sure,
whatnot?
We can do that.
For episode 2? Yeah. All right. The moral for Cargo of Doom is overconfidence is the most dangerous form of carelessness. Episode 2, Cargo of Doom. Stolen secrets! Villainous mercenary Cad Bane was hired by Darth Sidious to steal a holocron from the vaults of the Jedi Temple. After fleeing the scene of the crime, Bane hunted down and captured Master Balaropal, who has a crystal which holds the secrets of the Jedi Order. As a separatist fleet arrives to help the bounty hunter, Anakin Skywalker races in to cut off their escape and stop Bane from delivering the stolen holocron.
There we go.
Right?
All right.
Do you want me to read the plot summary?
Sure, I can do that. I can do it.
No. Oh.
Yeah, I'll do this one. I just can't do all three.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Great.
I'll do.
It's just that time of. This happens to me like once, like twice a year. Like I think at the start of fall and start of spring, where I just get a sore throat. In the fall because it's so dry out, and in the spring because it's like been dry and it's not dry anymore. But yeah, so it's just my seasonal sore throat. Anyway, Anakin Skywalker's fleet arrives in the Deveron system, cutting off the Separatist fleet, assisting bounty hunter Cad Bane. Unfortunately, clone trooper scouts tell Skywalker that Bane has already captured Jedi Master Balaropal and the Kyber memory crystal. Taken hostage on one Munificent-class star frigate, Rapal is held in an energy bond. While on the frigate's bridge, Bane orders the droids to get clear to jump to hyperspace. However, his ship has been seen by the crew on board Skywalker's Ventnor-class Star Destroyer Resolute. The crew fires at Bane's frigate, crippling its hyperdrive systems. Captain Rex Skywalker and his Padawan Ahsoka Tano come up with a plan to infiltrate the frigate, with 3 ATCEs providing fire support. This was so cool. This, like, their plan to board the ship. They get on like their walker tanks and just drop them onto a ship, and then they just magnet onto the ship, and they're just like walking on the hull. And it was so cool. Very Skywalker, very creative.
Very much an Anakin Skywalker harebrained scheme that works
Indeed.
out. And I also love the conversation they have about it, where it's like, where Anakin's like, I have an idea, and he like explains he's going to use the tanks, and Admiral Yularen is like, you can't be serious, those aren't meant for space. And then Ahsoka's like, well, they are like pressurized, and then Rex is like, and they're magnetized, so we can walk through that. He's like, that's a good idea, great idea, Anakin. and Admiral Yularen's like, oh, I guess. he's very much not having any of it.
Indeed.
This episode.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's great. This is also the second time that we've seen Anakin do a crazy harebrained scheme involving putting ATTs somewhere in space where they usually don't belong.
That's true.
Because there's that
the asteroid one
where they put it on an asteroid. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so it gets dark now. Meanwhile, Bane tortures Rapal and forces him
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other messed up evil thing I forgot that Bane does in these episodes is he tortures and murders a Jedi.
All right, so Bane tortures Rapal,
Another
and
Jedi.
forces him to open the stolen holocron. However, Rapal defiantly refuses. Bane tells droids to increase the power of the energy bond, which electrocutes Rapal to his death. Moment of silence for Ball Rapal. Moving on. In need of another...
What a brief moment of silence. No moments of silence for Master Rapal.
In need of another Jedi to open the stolen holocron, Bane returns to the bridge and notices Skywalker, Ahsoka, and their clones preparing to board his frigate through a view screen. Trade Federation Viceroy Newt Gunray contacts Bane via comlink and is angry at Bane for losing 4 of his ships and demands repayment. However, Bane promises that Darth Sidious will compensate him for the Federation fleet once the holocron is unlocked, and tells the Viceroy about the 2 Jedi that were about to infiltrate his frigate. Before leaving the bridge, Bane orders the droids to wipe navigation charts, trigger self-destruct, and transfer ship functions to his wrist gauntlet. Skywalker, Ahsoka, and the clones storm the bridge and destroy several Station B1 series battle droids. Skywalker's astromech droid R2-D2 then accesses the ship's computer to locate Rapal. The group then make their way to the frigate's detention block, and Ahsoka finds Rapal dead inside his cell. An explosion from Bane's frigate rocks the ship, which Admiral Wolf Yularen, who is on board the Resolute, advises the Republic group to stay clear of. Soon, the lights go out, forcing the clones to switch to night vision mode on their helmets. The squad sees Bane running, and they follow him in pursuit to the frigate's gunnery room. Bane orders his battle droid forces to eliminate the Jedi and turns off the artificial gravity. Ahsoka orders R2 to reactivate the gravity. Attacking the bounty hunter, Skywalker kicks the holocron out of Bane's hands. Before he can grab it, R2 reactivates the gravity, and Bane reclaims the holocron on the ground. In retaliation, Ahsoka chases after the fleeing Bane, despite her master's warnings. Skywalker tries to cut through a closed blast door to rescue Ahsoka. However, a droid trips and shoots an artillery shell, which causes an explosion. In a dead...
All right, we got to talk about this stuff here.
Let's do it.
Okay. First of all, Cad Bane, his idea, he is such a, like, he immediately has a cool plan figured out when he's like, oh, the Jedi are here, and the Jedi that I needed to open the thing is not opening the thing anymore, but now I've got 2 Jedi, so now I have a plan. He immediately is like, I'm gonna get them separated, and I'm gonna capture the Padawan so I can, basically force their master to open the holocron for him, which he does successfully. And just all the other things, like, the fact that, like, as soon as he finds out that the Jedi are on board, he's like, okay, wipe all the memory banks of the things, activate self-destruct, and give all the controls of the ship to my personal wrist thing. And he uses that to, like, control a bunch of the aspects of the ship while he's running around. And it's like, it is a very Batman moment where he's like, he's in control of the situation just single-handedly through that. And he's very, like, quick on his feet, very smart and clever the whole time.
Indeed.
Very, very impressive, yeah. And then we get one of the coolest fights we've had so far in the Clone Wars, which is a 0G battle between Cad Bane, 2 Jedi, and a bunch of clones and droids in 0G.
It's so much fun.
It's so cool. It's so much fun. They're floating around, and there's moments when, like, some of the clones shoot some battle droids, and when they get shot, they just like drift apart instead of like their parts going flying. They just like, and they like float away, and it's like a cool, like, that's cool visual. It is cool, and there's just, it's just a cool scene. And then, like, because it's also like, it's not a like, oh, one thing happens, like they activate the gravity, and then Cad Bane gets away. It's like he deactivates the gravity, which changes the situation, but then everybody adapts to the situation because the clones activate their magnet boots. Like, Rex is like, we've trained for this, and they all kind of reattach and figure things out immediately. They're back on their feet, and it's like, it's just this fun back and forth. And then one other thing is that this is yet another situation where I'm like, it would have been useful if that Jedi had used the Force to grab the thing instead of...
Why didn't Anakin just reach out with the Force and grab the holocron?
And then, literally, like 10 seconds later, he uses the Force to catch a clone that's falling from the ceiling. So it's not like he forgot he had the Force. Like, you could have just, like, it's like, oh no, the gravity got turned back on, so they all fell, and so he couldn't grab the. You have the Force.
Oh no, our clever plot device. We can't use it anymore. Darn.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, those were my comments about this sequence, because it's such a cool sequence.
Yep. No, that basically that sums up my thoughts on that. I agree, 100%. Retweet. Yeah. All right. In a dead end corridor, Ahsoka and Bane fight against each other. While Ahsoka defeats Bane in hand-to-hand combat, the Padawan tries to telekinetically retrieve her lightsaber. Although Bane tricks her, the bounty hunter grabs her ankle and sends a paralyzing electric shock through her, which renders her unconscious. Sensing that his Padawan is endangered, Skywalker frees himself from the debris inside the gunnery room and orders Rex and the clones to secure a ship for them inside the frigate's docking bay.
We get a moment here where, like, first of all, Bane has shocking Ahsoka, very smart. Like, he obviously knows, like, he doesn't underestimate the Jedi. He just knows how to work around their abilities and kind of get the upper hand. And he's got like Batman, so many Batman parallels. He's got all sorts. He's got gadgets for every situation. So he's got his shock glove or whatever to like do that, which was super smart. And he's got all he's got his comlink thing on his wrist that can like control the ship, and super smart. And then the other thing is there's this moment when Anakin like realizes through the Force that Ahsoka is in trouble, and we get this look from him where he's like under the debris, and he gets this like very like intense sort of, not even angry so much as like determined fury of like, it's a very like Darth Vader moment of like, all right, I'm not messing around anymore. And then he gets up and just pushes all the debris off of himself, and it's a very like, it's a brief thing, but it's like, oh, right. you see a glimpse of the dark side in him.
Yeah, just the rage and the dark side, and also just like the untapped power. Like we kind of like get some like in a lot of Clone Wars, we talked about this before, that like Anakin kind of has gifted kid syndrome, where he just like, he doesn't feel like he needs to try. He's just like, I can just wing this and be fine. And then you see him like shift into gear in this moment, and he's like, it's down, it's going down. He's like, okay, it's hit the fan, so it's time to game face. Game face Anakin is scary.
Yes.
No,
his game face is a scary. Indeed.
All right. Shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Placing Ahsoka in stun cuffs and pulling her Silka-bead Padawan braid, Bane mocks Ahsoka and electrocutes her with his wrist comm while he waits for Skywalker to rescue her. Immediately, Skywalker enters the room, and Bane threatens to void Ahsoka out in an airlock if he doesn't unlock the stolen holocron. That's a weird way of wording that. Bane threatens to
I've never heard void. You've heard void used as a transitive verb.
Bane threatens to shoot her at the airlock, flush her out. That's what he's threatening to do.
Yes.
If Anakin doesn't open the thing. Skywalker is forced to concede to save Ahsoka. Once the holocron is unlocked, Bane inserts the crystal. Enraged, Skywalker then spontaneously summons his and Ahsoka's lightsabers. Bane responds by opening the airlock and escaping. Despite desperate to save his Padawan, Skywalker throws a fragment of a B-2 series super battle droid and closes the airlock. Bane contacts Gunray to inform him of his success. Gunray asks him to transmit the information to him. However, Bane says that he'll deliver it to Sidious personally. However, his shuttle has already been taken by the clones. In a desperate attempt to capture Bane, Skywalker runs down a hallway, although Ahsoka forces the latter to return to Rex inside the hangar bay. The Jedi return only to see the clones holding a Sheathipede-class transport shuttle. On the top level of the hangar bay, clone troopers Denal and Coho engage Bane in a duel. However, the bounty hunter defeats the two clones and dresses himself in Denal's armor. Upon noticing that Bane might be dead, Ahsoka wishes to retrieve the holocron, although Skywalker claims that there wasn't any time to do so. Bane, who's wearing Denal's armor, enters Skywalker's ship. After leaving the frigate, Skywalker states that they saw Bane fall to his death. He still feels Bane through the Force. When they return to the Resolute, Ahsoka apologizes to her master for letting Bane get the better of her. However, Skywalker corrects her, saying that the mission's failure was his fault from start to finish. End of episode 2. It wasn't exactly clear in the summary from the end of episode 2, but basically, Cad Bane, dressed up in clone armor, escaped with the rest of Anakin and Ahsoka and the clones back to the Resolute, and then stole a clone fighter and escaped that way.
Yeah. Well, that happens.
Oh, does it? Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. At the end of this episode, it's not actually revealed that it's Bane. I mean, you can. It's kind of implied that it might be him because he's got this limp, so he's very conspicuous, but also he's like, we hear him speak once and it doesn't sound quite right. It doesn't sound quite like a clone. But yeah, it's one of those moments where I feel like we've seen this a lot, where like a lot of the time Clone Wars episodes aren't really allowed to end on an actual cliffhanger. Where like, because at the end of this episode, presumably they beat Bane and stopped him. But at the beginning of the next episode, it's like, oh, actually, he's. There's a lot of moments where it's like that could have been a cliffhanger at the end of the last episode, but instead it's the catalyst of the beginning of the next episode. But but again, I feel like that's probably just a syndication thing. Like they want episodes to be able to stand, relatively on their own. It's a kids' cartoon that they need to be able to play on shuffle on Disney XD,
exactly, or whatever,
exactly,
or Cartoon Network. So
Cartoon Network, Disney XD, one of those, I liked there was a cool kind of like, I feel like the character development moment of this was like, I mean, the moral of this episode was overconfidence is the most dangerous form of carelessness, and we see that first when Ahsoka runs down the hall, it's like, I'll get him, Master, and Anakin's like, no, it's a trap, and then it's a trap, and then later Anakin's like, I'm gonna go get him, Ahsoka, wait, I'll go ahead, you get off the ship, and Ahsoka's like, patience, Master, and it's like, and he's like, yeah, you're right, so like the kind of like she learns from him in that moment, and then she kind of has to remind him back. It's a nice sort of like a learning moment for both of them, and like a cool sort of character exchange there. It also kind of harkens back to like the previous episode where Ahsoka like almost messed things up badly by being, short-sighted and impatient, and being like, no, we've got him, we've got the droids on the run, and so that's sort of the pattern of these episodes. That's what the lesson is. I've figured out the moral.
Thanks, Jack.
I've
You need to do it.
Yeah. You're welcome, everybody. All right. We ready for the final episode?
Let's do it.
Of this arc? Children of the Force.
Let's do it.
Sam, what's the moral?
The moral is the first step to correcting mistake is patience.
Patience in battle.
Patience. All right. Am I doing the Ularn and
you do the I really Ularn, and then I'll do the summary.
Cool beans. A thief hunted in a daring assault. Anakin Skywalker and his Padawan Ahsoka boarded the warship of cunning bounty hunter Cad Bane to recover a stolen holocron containing a list of the galaxy's Force-sensitive children and future Jedi Knights. After a desperate chase and duel with the villain, Anakin and his troops defeated Bane, but were forced... Oh gosh, why is my computer freaking out? But were forced to evacuate his doomed vessel without the holocron. It's like the page finished loading, or like an ad loaded up while I was reading that, and then it just jumped. It just jumped up and down. I'm like, I can't.
That's my biggest pet peeve with the internet and with technology in general, is when you're about to click on something or about to read something, and then something else loads in and moves the whole page. It's like, no, you decide where things are at the beginning. Yeah. Do that first, and then Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, episode 3 of the arc. Let's do it.
Yeah. Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano, returning from their failed mission to recapture the holocron captured by Cad Bane, whom they believe to be dead, land on the Resolute orbiting the Deveron system. Tano follows the clone trooper Danal, who supposedly killed Cad Bane and is injured, constantly asking questions with no answer from the clone. Skywalker, in the meantime, investigates a drop of green Duros blood on the floor of the shuttle they returned on and is alerted to the danger. He warns Tano, but it is too late. She is kneed hard in the chest by Cad Bane, disguised as the clone trooper, and he runs to the fighters to get away. Skywalker attempts to stop him by jumping onto the fighter, but Bane swerves the ship into the vacuum of space, and he is forced to jump off. Skywalker then helplessly contacts Admiral Yularen and tells him to deactivate hyperspace transport rings, but Yularen, too, is not in time, and Cad Bane escapes.
This was so nice, Admiral Yularen. Come on.
Yeah, Admiral Yularen being a freaking sass, being oh, really? What did you do this time, Anakin? This is your fault. This one's on you, Yularen. You should have just followed orders. He's your superior.
Is he?
I think. Is he? I think. I mean, I don't know. I feel like most of the time it's like they treat it that way, where it's like ultimately Anakin's orders are the ones that like they go with, even if Yularen's like, what? But like, I don't know. Admiral sounds like something that'd be higher than general, right? But I don't know. I don't know military.
I have to figure this out now.
Google it.
All right, just click on the page for Admiral. Admiral's senior command rank in many navies, including those. That's what it says. Navies. What's a navy? Open in it.
Navies.
Navies.
The plural of navies.
It's 11:30. It's 11:30.
Yeah,
Admiral's senior command rank in many navies, including Galactic Republic, Galactic Empire, and the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the Shist Ascendancy, the Alliance to Restore the Republic, First Order, New Republic, and the Resistance. Like the flag rank of General, there were different grades for Admiral, denoting seniority and position on fleet. In the Galactic Empire, the ranks. Okay. That's not helpful. Appearances. I don't need to know appearances of things, non-canon sources.
Okay, so I looked it up and it says Admiral and General are the same ranks in the defense. The only difference is the Admiral is a rank in the Navy and General is a rank in the Army.
Oh. Okay.
So I guess they're equals.
Cool. How about that?
But like when it comes to, I guess, any like ground assault sort of thing, it's an Army thing, and so Anakin is his way goes there. I don't know.
Got it.
Anyway,
I mean that makes sense with how they interact.
I learned a thing today.
Yep.
Yeah. Indeed. All right. Let's go back to the summary.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm reading it. Hold on. Let me get back to
yes, you are.
Okay.
Oh, I scrolled out of it. I'm on
hyperspace. Yeah.
I'm on the Wikipedia page for Navy.
It's pronounced Navy.
Shut up.
Okay, back on Coruscant, Skywalker and Tano report to the Jedi High Council of the unfortunate turn of events. With Bane having access to the list of all Force-sensitive children in the Holocron, that information is now in Separatist hands, which could be disastrous for the Order. Their only hope is to search through the Force to watch for any kidnappings. Elsewhere, Bane is instructed by Darth Sidious to capture 4 Force-sensitive children and bring them to Mustafar. Bane considers it rash to kidnap innocents, but doesn't care as long as he gets paid. There's a second where he's like, really? You want me to kidnap kids? You better be paying me. Like, it's not like it's like a decorum thing more than a, like, I think this is wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't have any problem with it, actually.
He's like, really? All right. It's your money.
He's like, raises his eyebrows, but it's like, whatever. I'll do it. Yeah. Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu, and Skywalker meditate, trying to detect any children through the Force, as many are being overshadowed by the dark side. Skywalker then heads to Naboo to secure a Gungan child, and Kenobi to Rhodia.
Of course, Skywalker goes to Naboo. He would go to Naboo.
Come on. Yeah. On Rhodia, Bane poses as a Jedi, claiming that he is to take the child Wee Dun to Coruscant.
He's just a Wee Dun.
He's just a Wee Dun. Just went to the same joke. He's just a Wee Dun.
These are all really like dumb, like kid like these like names for like small puppies. That's what these names are for all the. We'll get to like the rest of the names, but they're all.
Oh my god,
they're puppy names. keep reading. Well, we'll get to them.
Okay, we done. Okay, his mother protests that Master Baller Opal insisted that he is too young to do so. Bane insists, bluffing that there are imposter Jedi roaming around, but Wee's mother refuses to let him go. Bane then uses a spinning device to quote unquote relax her. Kenobi then arrives on Rhodia.
Wait. This relaxing device. He hypnotized her. It was very silly.
No, yes,
it's just like
it's space hypnosis.
Yeah, have you seen Zoolander?
I've not.
Okay, it's an objectively silly movie, but there's like
I figured.
Yeah, but there's like a scene where like they play this where Will Ferrell's the bad guy in Zoolander, and he plays this like record, and the song is like it's relax, and like but like the album itself is like a black and white spiral, and like I like the song and looking at the record hypnotize people, and like the song is called Relax, and so when it says relax in quotes, I'm like, is Star Wars making a Zoolander reference?
Yes, the word relax is a reference to Zoolander.
I mean, in this context.
Sure. You know what? You do you, Sam. You believe what makes you happy.
I will.
You can do that.
That's what I've done this whole time.
All right. Kenobi then arrives on Rhodia, hurrying to the Dun home. However, Wee's mother threatens Kenobi with a blaster, but he pulls it out of her hands, demanding to know where Bane is. Bane then appears in the door before flying off to his fighter and escaping. Gosh dang it. He got away. On Naboo, Skywalker and Tano arrive to secure the Gungan child, Ruru Page.
Yep, it's a puppy name.
Ruru.
It's a puppy name.
It is. Ruru does sound like
it's a puppy name.
A puppy name, yes. It's Ruru. The latter goes to Jangwa City to watch over her. Later that night, Bane arrives, sneaking onto the Gungan city. He then sneaks into Ruru's room.
That's a mouthful.
Room's room, only to find Tano waiting for him. They engage in a small fight before he is captured. Tano takes back her Padawan braid. Yeah. On a Venator-class cruiser, Bane refuses to talk about where the other children he captured are, and his ship's navigation logs had been wiped. So Skywalker, Windu, and Kenobi try simultaneously to use the mind trick to force Bane to divulge their location, with the risk of destroying his mind. The experience is hard on Bane, and he cooperates, which is cool to me that, like, Cad Bane is strong-willed enough that he can resist a mind trick from 3 Jedi simultaneously, and the only reason he relents is because it's, like, painful. He's like, it's not because, you know, it worked on him, it's because it was like, no, my brain's gonna break if you keep doing that. I'll do it. Yeah. It kind of, like, gave me, like, Mind Flayer vibes. Like, from, It was just very, like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so many Batman moments. So, like, now that we've made that connection with Cad Bane and Batman, it's like, yeah, he is very Batman, isn't he?
Yeah, it's Bat Bane. Bane's a Batman villain.
No, there's already a Bane in Batman. Yeah. I was trying to think of a way to work in a Bane.
You think the Force is your ally? The Force betrays you because it belongs to me.
See there.
There you go.
There, you got it. You got it eventually. Oh, yeah. I was born in it. All right. With Bane as their guide, Kenobi and Windu prepare to go find the children. Windu points out that they must report to the Chancellor about this, but Kenobi insists that this is a Jedi affair. Skywalker advocates contacting Palpatine.
Classic.
And then at that point, they're both like, okay, well then you go do it. He's like, okay. Yeah. Which, like, it is, this is very, like, I mean, this happens all the time, obviously, because Anakin's very, like he loves his uncle. He's his daddy figure of the Emperor, of Palpatine. Yep. Good old Sheev. Yep. And he's like, no, we should, because it's nudged. He should know about everything, because he should know about everything, because he's great, and there's no chance of corruption there at all. Yeah. Yeah. On Coruscant, Skywalker reports to Palpatine of the plot. He expresses his belief that not even Count Dooku is behind it. The Chancellor asks Skywalker who he thinks is behind it, and he answers that he doesn't know. Palpatine tells him to have patience. On Mustafar, Palpatine, as Sidious, appearing via hologram, tells the surgical droids to prepare the surgery for the children. Jeez. Yeah. Like, right away. Oh my god, we're on the evil lava planet. There's an evil hologram standing over these babies and being like, it'll be all over soon. Yeah. And then he's like, robots, prepare to have surgery, experimental surgery on these children.
Yeah, prepare the evil brain surgery for these innocent wee-duns.
Babies. These, just a wee-dun. Just a wee-dun. Palpatine, as Sidious appears via hologram, telling the surgical droids to prepare the surgery for the children. He tells the droids that it is his intention to create an army of Sith spies to overwhelm the Jedi. If the children don't survive the procedure, he will have lost nothing. Which, like, thinking about this, I feel like this is maybe like a precursor almost to his idea for the Inquisitors.
Yeah. You know? I think it's a cross between the Inquisitors and then, like, the stuff that they were doing on Grogu. Like, with the... Yeah. Like, the trying to get the... Force sensitive something, I don't know, like the beds that the babies are in on Mustafar look like the thing that Grogu was on was that Tatooine? Is that where it was?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's interesting to see how many like throughout canon, to see how many different ways and different times and places that Palpatine is invested in. Like, he's always got something on in the background. Like, he's never resting on his laurels. Like, he has this one big plan in motion, but he's also always got like smaller plans to always be building up contingencies and shoring up power.
Right.
And part of that is always him like exploring ways to further his power and to do new things and create more powerful weapons than anybody else has ever had before. And a lot of that is experimentation and so very much in line with Sidious's MO.
Indeed.
But, yeah. The Jedi shuttle arrives at the station Bane specified, but the Masters don't sense the children. Bane says that the children are safe. He only brought them to the Holocron. He offers to get it. Windu refuses to be tricked, but accidentally trips the bridge's sensors, activating a number of turrets. Which I love. I love that moment because it's like they walk into it knowing that it's trapped because before they leave, Ahsoka's like, Master, it could be a trap, and Mace is like, of course it's a trap, Ahsoka. And then they get there, and he's like, I'm not gonna be tricked, and is immediately tricked because Bane knows that that's what's gonna happen is he'll offer, and then Mace is gonna be like, I'm smarter than you, and so he's just always one step.
Oh yeah, and I think it's very Obi-Wan move also. Like I think it was in one of the movies. Like someone's like, Obi-Wan, this is a trap. What do we do? It's like we spring the trap, right? Like is that in episode 2?
Yeah,
I think like
I can't remember.
Yeah, but it's very much. Oh no,
I'm sure he said it. I believe you.
I think it was when they're on the Grievous's invisible hand. At it started episode 3 when they're like trying to go up to the bridge to get Grievous. And like, what are you? It's a trap. It's like we spring the trap, and then that's when they get like in the ray shield thing and.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. So the turrets are activated. The Jedi defend themselves as Bane leaves the station in an escape pod. Luckily, they grab the holocron and escape the station before it self-destructs. Which this is, I mean, again, another just demonstration of Cad Bane's his intelligence and his level, the level of strategy and preparation that he has for everything, and all the different gadgets he has. Like, he had this place set up so that if anybody showed up, they would immediately be trapped. And also he set it up so that there are places where he can get away easily. Like he escapes by backing up against just a seemingly regular wall, and then it rotates around and he is on the other side of the wall. It's like he's got trap doors for himself to get out, basically. Wow. And then the place self-destructs. And so it's he's always ready to move on to the next thing. He's always got contingencies and backups, and he's got a way of weaseling us out of every situation. But it's all it's never out of luck or incompetent or just sort of, it's never dumb luck. It's always something that
this is exactly going according to plan, or one of his contingency plans.
Yes. Which was super cool. I honestly wish we could have spent more time there because it just seemed like a cool place. And I wanted to know what other cool gadgets and hidden compartments and stuff were on his little station. But back on the Resolute, Skywalker and Tano check Bane's fighter for any clues. Tano finds volcanic ash on its hull, while Skywalker looks through its fueling log, determining that Bane had dropped his hostages on Mustafar. They then head out in the twilight. However, their approach is detected, and Sidious orders the children to be moved elsewhere and the facility destroyed. Which, again, another instance of both the Emperor and Cad Bane are very they always have contingency plans and are always willing to drop everything in order to hide their secrets and keep themselves safe. The Master Padawan duo then enter the facility, drawn by Whee's cries. However, the droids use the children as shields while fighting the Jedi as the facility falls apart. However, the Jedi manage to snatch the children away from the droids and escape before the entire facility collapses into the dangerous lava lake. When they return to Coruscant, Skywalker admits to the Council that they were unable to find out who was behind the kidnappings. Yoda advises caution in the path ahead. The end of the first Cad Bane arc. Yay!
Gosh, so good. I love...
Yes, very, very good.
I love anything Cad Bane. This is so much fun.
Yeah, it was great. Man, I can't wait for the box arc. The one where it's all the different bounty hunters.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Obi-Wan's in disguise as one of them, and Cad Bane's there, and there's the whole sequence where they're inside of that box that's has a bunch of combat and puzzle scenarios sort of, and
it's kind of it kind of looks like the Imperial training thing on Lothal. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so can't wait for that one, and then we do eventually see him in live action, which is awesome. It was so cool to see Cad Bane in live action, and also just honestly that moment, it was one of those few moments where people who have seen the Clone Wars are are one step ahead of all the other people watching the show, where it's as soon as we saw a silhouette on the horizon with a wide brimmed hat, we were like, oh, it's Cad Bane! It's totally Cad Bane!
Yeah.
And everybody else is and then he walks up and there's this blue guy with a cowboy hat, and everybody's like, who is this? And then meanwhile everybody who's watching Clone Wars is like, it's Cad Bane! Cad Bane! I love I often wonder what it must be like for other people who are like seeing this character for the first time and being like, clearly this is like supposed to be a big reveal, so it's like this is like a pre-existing character, I guess. You know, it's like it's very much presented as like this is a big deal, this guy showing up.
Yeah, I wonder if that's also how people who like never watch Rebels feel right now watching Ahsoka. Like people who like just watch Star Wars live action, like because animation's not good enough for them. Wow, aren't you important?
Aren't you uppity?
Yeah, but I think, I wonder if that's how people feel. Like, who's Thrawn? Who's Sabine? Why is Ezra so important?
Honestly, especially with Ahsoka, just like with the show,
because you're basically watching Rebels season 5. Like, if you haven't seen Rebels season 1 through 4, like, of course, this isn't going to make sense to you.
There's a lot that you I think the show does a pretty good job of like giving you at least like the basic information that you need to know. Like, Ezra was a Jedi who left with Thrawn at the end of the war or something, and they mentioned briefly that Kanan Jarrus is the father of Jason and was married to, or whatever, to Hera, and so and they basically establish who Yang is and what his deal is, and they established that Ahsoka was Anakin's apprentice, and so like they get across all the most important.
They also make Chopper easier to understand too, people, which is fun.
He's a little bit less gibberish, a little bit more like, oh, I can like figure out what he's trying to say a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, like this especially, like there's so much that's just like, if you're not already invested in these characters, I wonder what what kind of the general reaction is to this show outside of like people who are already invested in like getting to see Thrawn and getting Ezra back and seeing Sabine do her training and whatever. There's a lot. But yeah, as for these episodes of the Clone Wars, I thought it was great. I thought like first episode we got a great, like really well like written, well paced, well structured classic heist, which I love a good heist. I love heist stories. They're just always fun and cool. Because it's like it has like kind of the excitement and the thrills of like an action movie, but it's more about like careful planning and like sneaking around and like when there's like in video games, whenever there's an option to like either like go in guns blazing or be stealthy, I almost always choose the stealthy option because it's like more fun and interesting to me. It's just like I'm sneaking around. Guns blazing,
I will Leroy Jenkins the crap out of this.
Leroy, I just don't know. I like it because it feels more like a puzzle. I'm more of a puzzle guy than I am like an action guy. But yeah, anyway, just I love a good stealth mission. I love a good heist. It's just I love seeing the plan get pulled off, and the wrinkles coming up, and then them getting past the wrinkles, and it's just a good episode. Then the second episode was them trying to get try to capture Cad Bane again and get Baller Paul back, and that was a cool episode. There was they had the 0G stuff, and they had the ATTs in space, and they had
so cool
just some really cool action moments, and there's just a lot of really cool, like well structured and choreographed sort of sequences, like lots of clever, like it's never just a space battle, or it's never just like a lightsaber battle. It's like this is a battle between a bounty hunter and 2 Jedi and a battalion of clones and of droids, and they're in 0G on a ship.
It's nuts.
And or it's like they have to board the ship, but they don't have boarding vehicles, so they're going to use these ATTs in space.
Yeah, let's just drop it instead. Just drop a tank on a flying ship. It's fine.
I love that it's never just like this is the moment where we do the basic thing. It's like there's always an interesting twist to it, which I appreciate that. And in this episode, Children of the Force, babies, and we get some sort of detective work, although it's mostly like it feels kind of cheap that they just kind of like they feel out in the Force and they're like we found all 3 of them immediately. Like it's not that big a deal. It's just it's less exciting than if they had like a logical sort of more detective-y way of figuring out like where these kids are, or like which kids he's going after. But it's still cool. And then yeah, we got to also the fact that like they go to Mustafar, like it's interesting to me that the fact that like Anakin has been to Mustafar before.
Yeah, that struck me. I didn't realize that before rewatching this.
I wonder if they come back at any point during the Clone Wars to Mustafar, or if that's...
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they go to Mustafar in Rebels.
Oh yeah,
because there's I think they go there to like break somebody out of a prison. I think, and they're like Mustafar is where Jedi go to die, is what Kanan says. I think.
Yeah, because it's where Vader's castle is.
Yeah,
yeah. So I wonder.
Indeed. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, these were some great episodes. Any errant miscellaneous thoughts about these episodes, Sam? About this arc?
No, I think this episode, this arc, introduces us to one of the best characters to come out of animated Star Wars. It's some of the best written.
Ruru.
Yeah.
By the way, that's who we're talking about. Is Ruru,
and we done also.
we
done. Just so we done. But yeah, it introduces us to some great characters, and in some of the best written, just action and intrigue and all that stuff. We're eating good this week with this arc. It was really good.
No doubt. Yeah. All right. Did you have a favorite part of this arc, Sam? A favorite moment, a favorite scene, a favorite something?
Gosh, anytime Cad Bane's on screen, this is my favorite.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I think just our introduction to Cad Bane and just how menacing and sinister and clearly capable he is as an opponent to the Jedi. I think that was probably my I think just our very first introduction to him being so like, oh, this is not just like, this isn't Hondo that we're dealing with. This is Cad Bane.
Yeah. It's not Hondo, that's correct. Yeah, it's very much a like they use some very quick shorthand to be like, this is a guy you need to take seriously, which is, he gets contacted directly by Palpatine to do this incredibly dangerous, like risky, important mission, and also he just off screen like kills and captures a Jedi. Like,
yeah, and then on screen kills another one.
Yeah, by torturing him. Tortures him to death.
Yeah.
For kids,
kids.
Children's television.
Yeah, this came out on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, not Adult Swim.
Not Adult
by the
Swim.
Way. Cartoon Network.
This was on when kids were getting home from school.
Yes, it was this and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yeah, and then like Toonami.
Yes,
Toonami. Toonami is great.
Man, I also miss Toonami. I miss, what was his name? The robot.
Oh gosh, oh, he was the coolest though. He just like.
Oh, it was Tom, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
it
was Tom. He was so cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
Just like had a motorcycle helmet for a face, and he was cool.
I want an action figure of him.
That'd be sweet.
I would say I agree with you, like on the like just generally the introduction of Cad Bane,
mm-hmm.
all the ways in which we get to know this really formidable character, just incredibly capable and cunning and skilled. He's just a force to be reckoned with. He's also just cool. He's very for all of his being a super evil dude, he's also just like, man, he's got the cowboy hat. He's got somebody's got like a toothpick in his mouth.
Yeah,
and he's got a little bit of drawl. He's got this deep sort of gravelly voice that's like, it sounds alien-y enough, but it also sounds like like a cowboy.
Yeah, it's like an alien robot cowboy is kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. And he's also just a cool design.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's a cowboy, but he's also like got his blue face with his big red eyes, and he's got his jet boots.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I would say my if I had to choose a moment, I mean, the one that I keep going back to is the Zero G.
That was so cool.
I just think that's really cool.
So cool.
It was just a really cool, like, I mean, it was kind of like slow paced because they were just kind of floating in the air, but it was like, it never felt like it was like sluggish. It was just like, it was just really well done, and fun and cool.
Yep.
And yeah.
Although, honorable mention for two more favorite moments. We saw Plo Koon and Kid Fisto. They both made appearances.
Yes, yeah. Kid Fisto had a brief non-speaking appearance where he just turned back and smiled at the camera, basically.
That's all I need.
Walked into the
That's all I need.
Yeah, which is like, yes, Kid Fisto.
He exists. We love him.
Yeah. And then Plo was also there at the beginning of the first episode, which was cool. Got to see him flying around, being a cool guy.
Indeed.
Which again, it's all we really need.
Yeah, it's great. He's like, yes, he's there. Thank you. We love him.
Yes, a couple of our favorite Jedi boys.
Yep.
Yes. MVP. I feel like obviously it's got to be We Done, right?
I was thinking Ruru, but we'll just settle for Cad Bane.
I mean, he'd be like my third choice, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, no, obviously it's Cad Bane. Like, if ever somebody deserved an MVP spot, it has to be Cad Bane, just for the sheer amount of skill and cunning and like cool moments that this guy has. Like, yeah, and this is not a like a pity MVP where it's like, oh, he's only gonna appear this one time, he's never gonna have a chance to be MVP again. No, he comes back plenty of times. He deserves it.
Yeah, and he probably will the rest of the time. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. He's awful, but he's cool. He's so cool. All right, main character kills. I don't think we're putting Cad Bane on the list.
I don't think bounty hunters count.
Actually, no, Cad Bane is on the list. I do have him on the list. Well, he kills at least one Jedi
and 2 clones. He kills two Jedi, 2 clones.
Okay, so that's 4 kills for. Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
For Cad Bane, yeah, he immediately became one of our highest kill count characters in one arc. He killed. Yeah, I'm gonna write this down in our notes for this episode just to make sure. Cad Bane kills 2 Jedi and 2 clones. All right, yeah. So good for you, Cad. I guess
he's a bounty hunter. He's good at his job.
Yeah. No lost limbs, no Wilhelm screams, as far as I'm aware. More Star Wars is better Star Wars. How does it? I mean, Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, obviously.
So,
but also, I think the overarching kind of like the why of this arc of the Force sensitive kids and Sidious's plot there, it kind of like starts to introduce us to Sidious's like schemes and machinations to take
these other machinations
of taking down the Jedi Order from every possible angle, like both like killing existing Jedi, but also like nipping Jedi in the bud before they even have a chance to blossom into full-fledged Jedi.
Yeah, there's and this is actually that reminds me the game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The main plot of that game is about, I mean, it takes place during the time of the Empire. But it's the main like kind of MacGuffin of the plot is they're trying to find a like a list of Force sensitive children. So it's like it's a similar plot basically of like, you know, they're trying to find this, but it kind of reverse, I guess. So they're like trying to find it so that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, and so that they can kind of restart the Jedi Order. Spoilers: they end up finding it, but then deciding to destroy it to protect the children, which I feel like is a smart move, especially in like the era that was, because this was like I think this was pre like Episode 4. Like close to that time, but like pre like the real rise of the rebellion,
like the Rebels and Andor time frame.
Yeah, basically. But anyway, yeah, so that this idea of like Force sensitive kids and like protecting them and them being like a sort of a valuable resource, or like, you know, something to kind of tip the balance in the galaxy, is something that comes up in other Star Wars media later on, definitely. Yeah. And then also just like in terms of a character perspective, we got some nice like you know, Anakin and Ahsoka like kind of learning lessons from each other a little bit. That was nice.
Indeed.
So it was cool to see some development for them, because we got a little bit more in these episodes of like, you know, seeing that like, you know, Ahsoka's growing and learning, but she's also still young and kind of, you know, rash, and, you know, she's still learning. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
we did it.
All right. Did we have a voicemail? So there was a voicemail from last time that we ended up not doing because we were short.
Indeed. Let me get it out real quick because I forgot about it until just now. Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna have to read out the transcript because it went to my Google Voice number. This is voicemail instead of my voicemail. So you
don't have the audio at all?
It won't let me download the audio. which is silly.
Oh.
Because
Okay, well, this is our viewer mailbag segment where we read off a transcript of somebody else's audio.
Yeah,
so hopefully it'll make sense.
This is from Jason. This is recorded. He sent this to me.
Hi, Jason.
Today is the 24th of September. He sent this to me on the 13th of September. So this is 11 days old. So this is immediately post Ahsoka episode 5. So what's up, space people? I'm assuming this is back-to-back week where I called in. Just wanted to talk about Ahsoka last night. Holy balls. That was perfect. Episode 5 of Ahsoka is top tier content. I guess I actually had a question. If you guys could add anything... Sorry, scratch that. Let me start over from scratch. Let me start over.
I love hearing you read this out loud from a transcript.
Yeah. If you guys could create your own show, what would it be? What would it be about? Who would be the main star? Who'd you guys cast? Who's the main star? No repetitive people, I guess. I know if you like, what? Harrison Ford, you don't have to have locked in. I mean, he's Han Solo. Just another test. Okay, all right. I'm gonna cut it short there. It starts to ramble and it's just speech to text. And anyway, if you had to come up with a Star Wars, your own Star Wars show, where and when would it take place? What would it be about? And who would you want to be in it?
Let's see. I have a few ideas. The first one that came to mind would be a Qui-Gon related show of some kind. Either a Qui-Gon being master to Obi-Wan show of that era, or something even earlier where it's Dooku and Qui-Gon.
That would be cool.
Yeah, because I feel like you could definitely bring back Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon. I mean, they did.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could bring him back and he could convincingly be, because he's like, he was already clearly an adult by the time he was in Phantom Menace, and obviously he's a lot older now, but like not so much that like he looks like a completely different person,
right?
Whereas I feel like they would have to get somebody else for Obi-Wan, because like they can't de-age Ewan McGregor that much,
right?
To make him look like Phantom Menace, which is why I thought like it would be cool to have just an even younger version of Qui-Gon, played by somebody else, and then a younger version of Dooku. Just kind of seeing those stories. We got a little bit of that in that one episode of Tales of the Jedi. That was super cool. What do you listening?
I heard a cat meow. If there's a cat outside the door. Yeah, sorry.
Does Gigi or Pirate want to contribute? They want to talk about what Star Wars things
their collective one brain cell would not have anything to offer to this discussion.
Collectively one. Wow, that's impressive.
I know.
Yeah, so that was one idea, or I guess two ideas, and then the other one I thought of immediately was like something set during the High Republic era, because that's a very unexplored era of Star Wars, especially when it comes to like film and television stuff. We haven't seen any High Republic stuff there. We've seen a little bit in video games now because of Jedi Survivor. We like see some flashbacks of that, and we see some technology and some architecture and characters from that era. But beyond that, we haven't gotten any big stuff from there that's not like books or comics, So I'd love to see more of that era. I don't know enough about it to say anything about what characters I would want in it or anything. But so maybe that's a little bit anticlimactic in that I don't have any like specific ideas or specific like actors I would want in whatever.
Sure.
But, those are my ideas. What about you, Sam?
Two ideas. Number one, this is kind of like more fun, silly one. I want a Poe and Finn buddy cop show.
That would be great. Honestly, I would love just like the time between The Force Awakens and the Last Jedi, just like them going on various adventures for the New Republic and doing fun stuff. I would love that.
It'd be great. And then my one I'd be more excited to watch would be following Maul.
Oh, by the way, I think they should fall in love. Poe and Finn. I think it should be a buddy cop thing that turns into a romance.
I mean, personally, I'm not going to stop it. If it happens, it happens. We're going to let these things take their natural course. It would be fun though. But I think I want a more darker, serious show, kind of like in like Andor kind of vibes, but following Maul as a crime boss.
Yes, that's an era we've barely seen anything like from.
Yeah,
because like we got hints of that in Solo, basically.
I want that story,
and that was kind of it.
I want that story.
That's a whole untold aspect of his story. Yeah, that I'd love to see.
Yeah,
agreed. Yeah,
is it Crimson Dawn? Is that the?
I think so.
Yeah, that's the crime family that he runs.
Yeah, how do you think they would do it for like? Because like when they did it in Solo, they brought back Ray Park to play Maul in live action, but then the voice was Sam Witwer.
I think just give it to Sam Witwer. Just give it to Sam Witwer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I don't know, because like Ray Park never did the voice. It was always somebody else. Because like even in episode 1, it was I can't remember his name, but yeah, it was somebody else voicing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Darth Maul voice. I'm Googling it. Sam Witwer. Hold on, let me see. I thought it was. Hold on. Peter Serafinowicz.
I know that name.
Yeah.
What is it? What do I know that name?
He let's see. He was in Shaun of the Dead.
Oh.
He was Shaun and Ed's roommate, who like the kind of the more proper kind of asshole guy that lives with them.
Oh yeah.
He's like annoyed by their shenanigans.
Yeah.
So Peter Serafinowicz, something like that. Was the first actor to provide the voice for Darth Maul in Star Wars Episode 1, dubbing his voice over that of Ray Park for grunts and for each of the 3 lines that the character had in the film.
Incredible.
He also provided the voice for a Gungan scout and 2163, who is a battle droid, but wasn't credited for it in the film. So Serafinowicz did initial recordings as Maul for Solo: A Star Wars Story, but was replaced by Sam Witwer, who had voiced the character in Clone Wars and Rebels. So, I would definitely like to see. I mean, it would definitely be like a different look for him if it was Sam Witwer, because he definitely doesn't look the same as Ray Park. But like, with enough, he could look fine in it probably. And I definitely would want it to be his voice, because he's like
the best Maul voice.
Yeah,
he's so good.
His voice is amazing as Maul, and I feel like he has like defined the character more than any other actor has at this point. Like, I mean, Ray Park aside, because of the physicality and the fighting. He had 3 lines in the Phantom Menace, and that was it for a long time until he came back in the Clone Wars. Ended up being a really talkative character, actually.
Yeah,
and he's great at villain monologuing and stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, how soon do we get to see Maul in Clone Wars? It's like later Clone Wars, isn't it?
I think it shows him until like season 4 or something. Let me see. Clone Wars. So his first like regular appearance is Brothers, which is the 21st episode of season 4. So near the end of season 4, he shows up for the first time.
Got it.
Yeah. And that's also the arc where we get Savage Opress. What a name!
So is that where we see Spider-Legs Maul?
Yes, we see Spider-Legs Maul, and then he gets like slightly less spidery legs from
more grasshopper
the witches.
Legs.
Yeah, his grasshopper legs, and then eventually he gets like kind of regular legs.
Yeah,
but like for a while
they just got tired of animating those.
Yeah,
it's just like just make it normal.
Yeah, like this is a bit much. Let's just give him some more normally legs, please. Yeah. Anyway, so I would love any show. Honestly, more Maul is
I think it would have. I think we'd have Maul. We'd have the Hutts, and then bounty hunters galore. And it could maybe like cross over into like an early Grief Karga, like when he's a bounty hunter. Maybe he gets hired by them. That could be cool.
Or like yes, and I also like to see Kira again and kind of see where her story goes from Solo, or either how she got involved with it or how like maybe it straddles the story of Solo and we see some before and some after, something like that. Yeah, but I would love to see more of that.
Cobb Vanth, that'd be fun.
Ooh, yeah, Mr. Cobb. Yeah, and I wonder if Cad Bane would show up again, because like he
should. He's around that time.
He's alive at that point, so like yeah, man, lots of actually that's another good point. Is I'd love to see a Boba Fett show of like kind of young adult Boba, because we've seen like child Boba, like kind of. I think that the oldest we saw of like kind of kid Boba was like end of the Clone Wars ish, and then we don't see him again until like Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
And so I would want to see like, you know, what's he like when he's like in his like late teens, early to mid 20s, kind of like that age.
Yeah.
You know, what's kind of
like,
how does he like
the age that most of the clones are in the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'd kind of see that story. Well, yeah, there's so many characters that we just haven't seen, or at least in film and television we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Of you know, a bunch of kind of eras of these characters' stories. That's I think what is so cool about one of the things that's so cool about Star Wars is because there's so many cool, interesting characters and so many interesting eras that like, you know, you can make a story, like grab a story from any, you know, combine a character and an era and be like, what's going on with this character at this time, and come up with some cool stories for it, and it all works, you know. That'd be cool. You know what else would be cool?
What?
Either as part of this or as like its own show is something to do with the Witches of Dathomir.
That would be cool.
I would love to see more Dathomir folks.
Oh yeah, especially because they're finally. I mean, they're getting their live action real debut in Ahsoka, which is so cool to see. Just like spooky, creepy Star Wars. It's great.
Yes, I would also like this. This would be difficult because of like there would have to be like a Clone Wars era thing for this to happen. But I would love to see live action Asajj Ventress at some point. Yeah, you know, because she's such a cool.
She's a cool character,
and I would love to see maybe like if they would adapt some of the story of her like later years that like they turned into a book. I think canonically she falls in love with who's the Jedi she falls in love with. I'm trying to remember. And then they like it's like a Jedi that kind of went to the dark side for a bit, and then they kind of both turned to the light or something, and then I think they both die. But like let me see. Asajj Ventress. What's his name? Quinlan Vos?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Quinlan Vos.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes. With nowhere else to go, she started working as a bounty hunter. Near the end of her life, she agreed to help Jedi Quinlan Vos assassinate Dooku. Their plan failed, and Vos became Dooku's newest acolyte. In the Second Battle of Christophsis, Ventress sacrificed herself so that Vos would be free from the influence of the dark side. Obi-Wan and Quinlan took her lifeless body to Dathomir, where she would finally be at home. So that's the end of her story. But I'd love to see maybe some of that in live action.
Pretty cool.
Which I think Star Wars tends to not like directly adapt things. Like if something was already mentioned in like comics or books, they either ignore it completely or they kind of adapt it. Like, you know, use some of it, like how they did in Tales of the Jedi with Ahsoka's whole thing. I know you're still bummed.
I'm very bummed. It's one of my favorite Star Wars stories. It's so good and so cool. In my brain, the way I'm reconciling that whole story in my brain is that being an anthology, it was just like they had to give the Cliff Notes version. We couldn't do the whole thing. So the whole thing still happened, but we just saw the Cliff Notes version. That's my headcanon is it's still real.
Yeah, I know. I like that idea. Yeah. Because
it was like
I wish they'd shown more of it. Sure, but like But yeah. So yeah, that was another great question.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Thank you for that. Yeah, man, there's so many opportunities, so many cool things to do, and like, and we're of course, I think we tend to like gravitate more towards like the stuff surrounding like the Jedi or maybe like the criminal underworld stuff, but like there's other like, you know, like military stuff. Like there was that the like kind of X-Wing pilots show that was in development for a while. I think they might have canceled that or like put it on hiatus.
They basically, I think the reason Carson Teva is in all of like the stuff is because I think it was supposed like all of like the
it was supposed to be about him.
I think it was supposed to be about him and Gina Carano's character, like the two of them. And so when they got rid of Gina Carano, they were like, well, let's just adapt these cool stories we have and just weave them into the other shows that we got, and just it's Carson.
Ahsoka and Mandalorian and stuff. Yeah. Honestly, I would have liked to see like that show, but like with him and with like with Zeb.
Oh
maybe?
Yeah.
Like like a sort of a buddy cop show with them. Maybe. That'd be fun. Like that'd be cool. Yeah. So yeah, but you know, Gina Carano coming out as a transphobe, ruining everything. So thanks.
Come on.
But all right. Yeah, that was a great question. Thank you very much, Jason.
Yep.
If you'd like to join in the discussion, listener, leave a voicemail at 512-850-6653, and we might feature your comments, questions, or corrections on the podcast. And again, that number will be in the show notes as well.
Yeah. We haven't gotten any corrections yet, so I think we're batting 100 right now, batting 1,000.
Yeah, we've never said anything incorrect.
Yeah,
is I think that
that's how I take it. Yeah, I'm right until proven wrong. So no one's proven me wrong yet. Aha.
Yes, innocent until proven guilty.
Yep.
Join us next time, folks, when we will talk about only one episode. We'll be talking about the Clone Wars Season 2, Episode 17, Bounty Hunters.
Ooh,
that's exciting.
Then,
let's see the one after that.
That's the box, right?
Oh, is it?
Because that's a Cad Bane episode.
No, it's not. No, it is not. Oh. This one does not involve Cad Bane. This is yet another instance of Star Wars adapting Seven Samurai. It's Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka form an uneasy partnership with 4 deadly bounty hunters to help protect a local farmer from Hondo Anaka and his band of pirates.
It's a Hondo episode. Yay.
Yeah, so that's great. So that's cool and exciting. But yeah, this is definitely like, it's very clearly supposed to be like another there's so many Seven Samurai homages in Star Wars, but it's great because it's like story idea and structure. We should see it a lot. So yeah, we get that one, and then the next arc after that is a 2-episode arc that's the Zilla Beast and the Zilla Beast Strikes Back. So that'll be fun because we got our kaiju episodes.
Yeah, Zilla Beast so much fun.
Yeah, and then after that we get our first 5-episode arc.
Good night.
So I feel like whenever that happens, we're gonna have to not read through the whole plot summary of every episode because we'll be here for 3 hours.
I know.
Yeah.
So we're doing this on a work night.
Come up with our own little summaries or something. Yeah. So for that one, we're gonna have to plan throughout watch an episode a day throughout the week instead of trying to watch them all on the same day.
Half an hour before you're supposed to start recording. Oops.
Yeah, it's a little Anyway, but yeah, so MVP today was Cad Bane.
Yep.
And also Ruru and
We Done.
Just a We Done.
Speaking of We Done,
yeah, thank you everybody for listening.
It's after midnight, I think We Done.
Oh, there was a second pun. There was a second joke having to do with the name We Done. That's
great.
And we are done.
Yeah, I'm so tired. Jack, I love you.
All right.
It's bedtime.
Get a good night's sleep, Sam. Yeah. Good night, everybody. Get a good night's sleep or a good day's not sleep if it's the daytime for you, and may the force be with you all.
All right.
Goodbye.
Cut the chatter.
All right, cut the chatter. Roger, Roger.